Please no, why? I'm so disappointed in you, Sal. I'm sorry you feel this way. I have been looking into NFTs for quite a while now and weighing the benefits and drawbacks. It's a conscious decision I've made and I understand if you don't agree with it. Thanks for your support until now. Damn, at least you own it being terrible. Sealite does NFTs, fuck him to hell then. Get a load of this fucking retard. I wake up mad knowing I can't put my hands on you internet. What a fucking coward to disable the replies. Hey dumbass, people can still quote tweet you anyways. Stop being such a coward since it's pointless anyway. I'd like to tell @JisuArt and @Yuiko that they're a disgrace to art. Both are absolutely spineless grifters who'd sell off their family if it meant making an extra dollar. You should end your NFT journey with a quick sprint off a short pier. For anyone new, this person is a crypto bro scumbag and makes NFTs, so don't support them. Your art was nice, too bad you sold out and started selling NFTs like a scumfuck. Not to mention you disabled replies so nobody could tell you what an asshole you are. Get fucked, motherfucker. NFTs more like no fucking thanks, you piece of shit fucking vermin. You should be actively cyberbullied. Good to find another NFT idiot to block. You disgust me. You're a disgusting human being. At least other NFT artists flocked into the comments so we can block them too. NFTs are bad no matter who engages with it. You'll get the flames? Anyone that sells an NFT, regardless of person, will always be burned? Unfollowed. You are either criminal or greedy or scum. Choose one, smiley face. Honestly, they've ruined their possible integrity to such an extent that calling them an artist feels like a disservice to art. I have no sympathy. And of course, you have the one that introduced me to this bullshit. I fucking hate that companies and dumbass artists are trying to legitimize NFTs. They're an outright scam and everyone can see it. No, they don't do shit for artists. Yes, each and every single one of them is terrible for the environment. Anyone stupid enough to think so otherwise deserves to have their careers dragged to the back and be put down like old Yeller. I don't care how skilled you are. Artists shouldn't put down other artists, but if they make NFTs, they need to get their ass blasted and never be acknowledged again. Prime example is that one dude who animated Stewie Griffin looking booba girls at 60 FPS. Good riddance. Part 3. The abuse. Just look how many fucking likes and retweets this has. Like, are you kidding me? 800 likes on the first tweet calling any artist who does NFTs a dumbass, and then 371 on the last tweet literally saying it's okay to abuse artists because they need to be abused. What the fuck? And you know what? I just gave you a teaser. This isn't even the worst. This is a fraction of the screenshots I have. For instance, okay, let's talk about the lead artist for the Bored Ape Yacht Club again. Did I mention that this story about her not only had tweets saying it's proof NFTs don't help artists, but simultaneously people are needlessly throwing out insults at her art, and it happens with zero pushback too. So she made NFTs and she ain't even getting anything from them? 18 retweets, 1,700 likes. No, she never made NFTs. She made the artwork and other people minted them into NFTs, marketed them, and sold them. Didn't pay her royalties, which shows how bullshit the It Protects Artist claim really is. 376 retweets, 4,886 likes. She's still got some ugly ass art. 2 retweets, 79 likes. Not the point, but great contribution, thanks. That was the only pushback. That was the only comment. It's almost like if an artist associates with NFTs, you're dead to them, which is a thing, by the way. But if you can use them to push a narrative about NFTs, they will. Other than that, they don't give a shit about you. You'll notice at the start of this montage I showed you before, someone simply was disappointed and the actual abusive comment had like way less likes. I'm not going to pretend that every Huggy Wuggy pro artist person became an abuser, although it's definitely a percentage, which I'll back up later. What I am going to say, however, is almost every single Huggy Wuggy pro artist person was complicit in this abuse. That comment I showed you at the start of the montage, damn, at least you own it being terrible, no one pushed back on it. 0 comments, and it's the same thing here. Remember those tweets about how to not treat artists always get insane likes and retweets, but despite the fact that there are people here making quote-unquote pro-artist statements, when someone unnecessarily insults the artist, it gets 0 pushback. In 2 tweets, someone spread a complete lie that they don't make NFTs and implied that the art was stolen, falsely victimized the artist just to criticize NFTs, and gets 400 retweets and 5,000 likes for said total lie. And then someone comes along, totally unnecessarily, calls the artist's work ugly, gets 79 likes, and the only pushback is a guy saying thank you. And it's not the only time that's happened. Good, fuck her. Serves her right. Okay, and her art still looks like dog shit. Damn, that's crazy. Her art is still shit. And everyone is just kind of okay with it. Even the post author, who's supposedly so pro-artist. So she's not affiliated with NFTs, she's just a shit artist? Nah, she still does NFTs. She should do porn instead. Would be a better use for her. Bruh. Again, that was the only pushback that got. Bruh. Even from the account that made the supposedly pro-artist post about NFTs, they didn't call him a dick for calling an artist shit. They only corrected the thing that would have given them a better image of the artist. And that was only the first post. They literally said the artist's work was so ugly that she should sell her body instead. Not even as a choice, he just said a better use for her. Like her freedom exists to serve him. And the only pushback on this was bruh. And it wasn't even from the post author they were just talking with. They were fucking silent. Isn't this objectifying women, Twitter? God damn, can you imagine getting away with talking about an Asian woman artist like this on Twitter in any other situation? Also, in showing this, I'm admitting that, technically speaking, the post author does acknowledge that the artist makes NFTs, but not only do they never mention how much she makes, because that'd hurt the point, they also only ever say this in response to two individuals, one of which being horny and the other being willing to abuse the artist, both of which I'm interpreting as, you clearly don't care about the artist as an artist, so it's worth correcting the information and telling you they do NFTs because it won't detract from the pro-artist point, and you'll just hate them more because they do NFTs. Because if this was about correcting misinformation, there was a fucking huge post right above this with 5k likes and 338 retweets with completely wrong information that ratioed the big tweet above even though it was less accurate. Not gonna correct that? No, why would you? It doesn't help the fucking narrative. And so, when you look back on this initial tweet, it reads a bit different contextually. She's not getting royalties from them. Lamau, the first major NFT collection, literally does the exact opposite of the protecting artist claim. That Lamau wasn't a general feeling of irony of the situation. They were spitefully laughing at the artist. They were trying to make an argument against NFTs with a pro-artist stance while simultaneously laughing at the artist because she worked with NFTs and didn't get royalties. And that's not the only place they try to do both at the same time either. One of the most ridiculous examples I ran into was with an artist called Yuiko. We'll talk about the hate she got in a bit, but all you need to know is that she's one of the few artists who, upon getting hate for getting into NFTs, started to push back on it. Among other things, this included getting pissed off at someone trying to follow police her. Follow policing is when you look at the followers of someone you want to police and see if anyone in your circle follows them. Then you basically just pressure them to unfollow. Why are 60 of my mutuals still following Yuiko, even though it's now been revealed that she is in fact extremely pro-NFT? I've seen some of you guys be pretty vocal about this topic, so what gives? Because followers are connected to your livelihood as an artist, this is a bit of a dick move, especially when you're applying pressure to your friends to unfollow as opposed to just informing them to make their own decision. And so in response to this, UAE turned the tweet into an NFT to add to a collection just for NFT related abuse that artists get. They tried to cancel her for art theft over a fucking tweet. Over a tweet about follow policing. They called it art theft. I'm not joking. And thus, Yuko said NFTs promote original authentic works from artist Uwu, and then stole a tweet to use in the lowest F NFT in the world. Stole a tweet! 44 likes, 1 retweet. Environment thing aside, you do realize this is straight up theft, right? You are profiting off someone else's tweet and doing what some NFT creators are being criticized for. You probably don't want others to steal from you, yet you have no issues stealing from someone else. 55 likes. I love your art, but the fact that you're completely okay with stealing from others just because they criticize you is really not okay. 30 likes, and then they held on to it and tried to cancel her over it in future too. Haha, hey, do you remember when you yourself wrote in a Patreon post that it supports authentic original work? What's up with selling someone else's tweet? It's almost like anyone can steal anything and sell it on NFT platforms like people have been saying since the beginning. Weird. 27 retweets, 200 likes, over a fucking tweet. It wasn't even for sale, it was obviously just satire. So you can see how the same pro-artist people are doing this, because they're literally abusing a pro-artist argument to abuse an artist. And of course, no one gets effectively any pushback, and meanwhile, despite this ridiculous hardline stance, none of them say anything about Yuko's NFT art being copied and pasted, which in their own words is being stolen. And these aren't rare outliers. The first one has 145 likes. No one even says anything about the people replying to her work saying they're gonna commit art theft. But this mean-spirited tweet trying to ruin an artist's livelihood, now that's art worth protecting to these people. What happened to all those people in 2019 who rallied behind her to signal boost her when her art got stolen? Where are they now? Because they're not fucking here. Unless, of course, they're the same people taking part in this bullshit. And when they use the exact same rhetoric, it makes it seem very likely. These instances of both the abuse and the pro-artist stance happening at the same time are, to be fair, fairly rare. But these two things as a whole is a common trend we'll see through all of this. A group carrying out awful harassment, demonizing, and insults, and then another group that is in the same space jerking themselves off about how much they care about artists while completely ignoring the abuse and even spreading bullshit that reinforces the NFTs are bad for artists lie. I'll talk more about the second group later, but I really want to focus on the abusive people first, particularly because I have a shit ton of examples, and I want to emphasize what I'm showing you and what I'm going to be showing you aren't outlier opinions. They're not the majority, which is admittedly not much better, but the tweets that are this harsh make up a significant number, and people agree with them too. I'm not like, for instance, Folding Ideas, who will show you some admittedly bad comments, but then you look at the likes and it's like 0 likes, 1 like, and 3 likes. The third of which didn't actually say he was even going to do it. It's clearly just a poor taste joke. Like, was this the best you had? For every comment you show about threatening to steal art, I have like 3 actually doing it or saying they're actually going to do it with no context to say it's a joke. Too bad you're an NFT artist, so get bent. This makes for a great lock screen though, I appreciate it, 2 likes. The OP is a big enough pussy to disable notifications on this in their main account. Lol, by the way, I stole this for you, 3 likes. And not all of these have max 3 likes either. Do whatever makes me feel comfortable? I'm stealing your art then, 8 likes. Here's someone replying to an NFT artist telling everyone how to find websites that have stolen their Patreon exclusive art so they can see it for free. This has 4 retweets and 44 likes, and there's 0 pushback. Free NFT, just use Twitter video downloader to grab it, 145 likes. I guess this is kind of halfway between malicious art theft and a haha right-click save joke. I haven't even been counting the thousands of haha right-click save jokes, which I understand contextually are jokes, right? But it's a huge double standard. As I've covered, Twitter is immensely hardline about the definition of art stealing. There are people in the same thread from before who presumably don't know the artist did NFTs once, politely asking if it's okay to use it as a lock screen. That's how hardline Twitter is. But suddenly, it's totally okay, and Folding Ideas is no better. If you're gonna mention this poor taste joke about stealing art as if it's serious, after all, he did say asking for a friend like it's a joke, which you clearly understand because you did it yourself. How are you not going to do it on the thousands more times it happened to artists when people got quote-unquote right-click saved? I'm not saying right-click saving is bad. At worst, it's a poor taste joke to an artist who clearly put in a lot of time and effort into something. I'm saying you would think it's bad if it was done on a non-NFT artist, because you literally did. I am calling you a hypocrite.
Artists, including deceased artists, were told that it was their fault for not jumping in sooner, that if they had bought in and minted their stuff first, then it would have been easy to prove the forgeries. Because evangelists don't see this as a tool, as a market that may or may not fit into an artist's business, they see it as the future. So failure to participate isn't a business decision, it's just a mistake. They're terrible people.
And look, I don't have a problem with you mentioning bad tweets, even if they're not reflective of any significant size group, or if there are worse tweets elsewhere. But can you not ignore things that are way worse that are directly connected to the same issue? It looks so malicious. And then to call everyone in a community terrible people based on a few bad tweets with like fuck all likes. Oh my god, wow dude, you care so much about artists, don't you? Look at you over here on Twitter talking about choking someone out because they made a bad taste joke about stealing someone's art. You care so much. What a strong claim to make about a single comment with 0 likes that clearly doesn't represent a significant group of people, because you're just so full of that righteous love and anger. Meanwhile, there are people getting 800 likes, literally saying it's okay to ass blast artists and ruin their career, and you say nothing despite it being the exact same topic. And that's not even the worst of it. Ugh, now, what a fucking hero, dude. It's just all about the artist. Totally not doing this of your own self-interest. Not at all. I actually later looked up the tweets he used in the video, and to be fair, there is a few with a solid amount of likes. But the only tweets over 3 likes that I'd really call bad had a lot more nuance to their specifics that make it seem more like normal internet assholishness than any behavior trend inherent to NFT, bro. Like, these people weren't going out of their way to hurl at abuse in artists just living their life, as we've seen. These were done in defense of something or someone. And one of them wasn't even a reaction to art stealing like Dan says. Like, these people were literally just expressing that they'd want to buy the artist's work as NFTs, and the artist responded by comparing them to drug dealers. I think this was done in good fun, but it's also not surprising this ruffled some feathers either. And the other technically wasn't art stealing either. I'd say it's a legal ethical grey area. That is to say, this was an example of someone claiming to be the creator or even copy-pasting art to sell it. as like the art. This is called a marble card, and the image on it could literally like change at any time outside of the creator's control, even to potentially nothing. This is because the NFT is actually tied to a URL, not an image. The image you see is just whatever the preview image is of the web page. You've seen preview images before whenever you post a link to your friends. In fact, this one links to the artist's unofficial subreddit and takes the images from the banner. If the banner changes, so will the image in the NFT. So it really can't be used in the same way as like the art theft we've seen before. This is more about making unique collectibles around URLs people see as important, as each URL can only be minted by the same collection once. This person is clearly just a fan of these collectibles, didn't think they constituted theft, and so took issue with it being called an abomination. This reaction was still too far, guy's being a dick, but to take the situation like this and attribute it to everyone in the community as like an inherent trend of NFTs, this is just what happens when anyone on the internet criticizes what someone likes. Again, both of these examples were defensive reactions. We're a long way from attacking and harassing artists just trying to make a living from their own art. Come on, where's all the people calling the artists vermin or telling them porn was a better use for them? Was this the best you had? Now, for the record, like Dan Olsen, I am going to show you some comments that admittedly also have 0 likes, but the difference is I have way more and they're way worse. Like, I have screenshots of tweets directly to artists telling them to kill themselves. And if you want to get technical, there is actually a bunch of comments telling artists to kill themselves that actually have a lot of likes, sometimes anywhere from 30 to over 150. But they're always said in lol funny meme ways like go frag yourself or screen grabs from Fallout saying degenerates like you belong on a cross, which isn't really better, but I'm going to be generous and say it's not the exact same thing. Actually, never mind, just joking. Near the end of polishing this script, I found a tweet calling out an artist by name and then posting Filthy Frank's Kill Yourself song. Please kill yourself. You know how many likes this got? 963. This was to Seiro, by the way, the artist who went missing. Do you understand my concern yet? Someone told an artist to kill themselves and got almost 1,000 likes. How is this just happening and no one fucking cared? How am I the one giving a highly researched breakdown of all of this and debunking all the major arguments, and also the one breaking the story? This is actual insanity. And you're just there, making a 2-hour hit piece, pretending you care about artists, all the while not acknowledging any of this. Even in late April, the guy is still implying that it's all a scam and that artists don't profit from NFTs. There is no way at this point he hasn't seen any of the small successful NFT arts, let alone any of this abuse. Okay, like, to put it in perspective how widely it is believed that NFT artists should be abused, I got ratioed on my own tweet. So this god-awful tweet here, I quote tweeted it and said, Jesus fucking Christ, these are the same people who make lavish purchases from immoral companies and justify it by saying they're forced to live in a society. But when an artist uses NFTs to pay the bills, they think they're in the right to be this disgusting and spiteful. And this guy replies, now I think this NFT thing is something we should push back against at all cost. He gets 16 likes. This is before I had deeply researched the actual evidence for the environmental claim, so I just say, so even though you could just push for nuclear or push for more efficiency in the crypto space, you'd rather abuse artists who are trying to make a living. I get 15 likes, literally asking him if he thinks it's okay to abuse artists when there may be some other solutions, and he responds, don't whataboutism me, bitch. I can do far more stopping this parasitic business practice on a person-to-person basis before it gets a foothold than I can reshape the entire US power grid that's held by the balls of oil and coal tycoons, and the dude gets 16 likes, one more than me. I respond, that's fucked, dude, and get 6 less likes. I literally got ratioed by an account with 70 followers when I had 7,000, and the tweet in question was him literally just admitting that he feels justified in abusing artists just trying to make a living. The guy follows me, and if these likes are to be believed, half my followers agree with him over me. Whoever fucking said that an influencer is responsible for their fan base was smoking fucking Lego trees. This guy does not speak for me, and I cannot control him. Still don't believe me? Here's a tweet from Seiro the day she announced the creation of her NFT account. I hope you achieve your dream. 1 like. Oh, hey, that's nice of them. I mean, I only got 1 like, but yeah, you know, that's something. I hope they don't. Fuck NFT supporters. 89 likes, 1 retweet. Is it starting to sink in just how many people don't just quietly disengage to boycott, but actively hate artists who do NFTs? And this isn't even counting the number of posts with like 800 likes and 138 retweets literally telling people it's okay to cyberbully people who work with NFTs, or tweets with 4K retweets saying anyone who does crypto should go to hell, Or this tweet by famous composer Hideki Nagayuma with a picture of Sonic saying, "Sonic says if your profile picture is an NFT, I am coming for you. It is futile to lock your doors and windows. I will get my hands on you." With 6,000 retweets and 41k likes, which I am generously not counting because contextually I don't think those are aimed at artists specifically, but many artists are within a doubt in that category. But no, I'm not even counting these. Everything I have been counting and showing you has been aimed specifically at artists and either replies or callouts to specific artists or artists in general. In fact, while I haven't counted this image itself, people have literally posted this image in direct reply to artists doing NFTs, sometimes multiple times, and have gotten over 200 likes. So cool. To add insult to injury, the idea that this kind of thing is a minority is again me being generous, because the stuff I'm showing you is just the stuff that I've caught. Twitter has a stringent deletion and report policy, a culture of people wiping their history as to not get cancelled, a terrible search function that gets less accurate the more time that passes, a lot of tools for tweet owners to hide and prevent comments, and a quote tweet function that will prevent you from seeing any quote tweets as it tends to break the more time passes and shows you none of the quote tweets that apparently exist. Like seriously, look at this shit. 3,562 quote retweets, you click on it, ho, nothing to see. Not only did I get into this game late in like the last month or two of 2021, but it was also a month or two before I realized I had to screenshot everything the second I saw it. Like this one screenshot from before that I got from someone else, first thing I did was I found the original tweet and bookmarked it, but you go back there later and it's gone. This type of thing is very common. These people will just wipe their fucking slate clean on a regular basis. Here's another example. Butch Hartman got hacked by a crypto scam account, and because a lot of people don't like Butch Hartman, someone responded, "Me to NFT accounts, perhaps I treated you too harshly." It's a bit of a joke probably, but you know, it got 263 likes. But hey, what's these deleted tweets here in the screenshot? I guess we'll never know because most toxic tweets get wiped out by the creator within a few days. Oh wait, I have the second screenshot right here. Let's see what this says. Not really, but it's still funny. In brackets, keep treating them like shit. 542 likes. Even the guy who said I treated them too harshly responds, "Trust me, I will." Are you equating like abusers and predators to somebody making an NFT, lol? Now, obviously two very different things. Really? Why'd you delete the tweet then? But occasionally you get lucky and you find tweets that don't get deleted for whatever reason and have time to climb to their full potential, and they are very telling of the community's general attitude towards artists who get into NFTs. Here's a tweet with 13,800 retweets and 110k likes going, "Even as NFTs value plummets, I think it is important that we remember the artists who got involved with them and how stupid and deeply embarrassing that is. How alluring to be promised money only to end up spending way more, hurt the environment, and having the people who made any be literal children because it's easier to launder money through younger people? Hope spending money on a program that had no real artist interest at heart was worth losing any goodwill you had with every other artist. Maybe you and the Pope can trade tokens or something?" This one also had some pretty crazy retweets like, "Do not forget and do not forgive the clowns who were willing to sell out their fellow man and our collective futures because they had to get the bag. Yeah, we all need to work to survive in Hell World, but that doesn't mean every action carries equal moral weight." This has 15 retweets and 31 likes. I think it's important to ensure stigma is attached securely and firmly to everyone who engages in NFTs. In 3 years' time, they should be tweeting to get popularity with just hordes of people posting screenshots of their NFT tweets as an own underneath. Praise the art gods that NFTs are going down. Everyone involved with them, especially the artists who contributed, should feel embarrassment tenfold. New deal for animation, guys. I want them to live in shame for the rest of their lives. 3 likes. A lot of the worst screens I have come from donators who knew I was working on this, but at the start, a lot of this came from me mass following a ton of artists so I could, by chance, grab screenshots within the same day or so as an artist, like starting an NFT account. This admittedly didn't work very well, so it became one part of my strategy, with the other part being asking artists for help tracking down origin tweets, which they were also like often deleted after a barrage of harassment the artist got, and another part being literally just guessing keywords using harassment so that I could do very specific tweet searches on short specific time periods so as to not allow the broken search function to shit itself. It was a nightmare. Even so, I am going to shower you in examples, but just keep in mind the majority of stuff, and particularly the worst stuff, is probably gone. Most of what I have to prove that is tweets like this that demonstrate intent to do it, or tweets that otherwise refer to it. Although, you know that quote retweet glitch? There was one time in this video where the quote retweets actually worked on a big post, and holy shit. But we'll get to that. God, I wish I had DMs, man. It's the one thing that, like, can't get deleted, isn't prone to glitches, and is done privately, so the people probably acted even worse. But of course, they're private, so I have to ask the artist for them directly, which I did do with a bunch of artists, and were like, hey, you got any nasty DMs for me to publicize? And a lot of them were like, yes, but I don't want to involve myself. There was actually even one public statement from one of the artists I'm going to bring up where she claimed to have had death threats and gore sent to her business email and DMs. This certainly wouldn't surprise me knowing everything, but I want to see proof first before I base an argument around it. See, it's this kind of thing that makes me so scared to publish this video, even though basically everything I'm publicizing is public information. Because I know it's going to be putting more of a spotlight on these artists and sending them more hate. Unfortunately, I fear in order to convince people, it's important to give as much information as possible, which is why I'm not censoring hate comment usernames either. I want people to be free to fact check me as much as possible. I don't want it to look like I'm hiding anything, because I'm not. The gamble I'm making here is that I can convince enough people that it becomes no longer a popular opinion and people won't feel pressured to oppose it. Then public pressure and shame will do the rest. Hopefully tides will start to shift after this video and artists will feel more comfortable standing up to this sort of thing. But hey, if you're an artist and you got some nasty DMs you want to show me, I'll publicize the shit out of them in a follow-up video. Just take some screenshots and send them to me on Twitter. Thank you. Anyway, point is, this is just what I was around to screenshot at the time, and what I could find through connections, links, and Twitter's broken search function. Although, I suppose that's speculation. It's hard for me to verify whether or not you've seen like all the abuse for any given artist, or only just a fraction. But judging by the big case studies I have at the end, where I was in one actually like online at the time taking screenshots, and the other where like the fucking stars aligned and a bunch of people actually didn't delete the big origin tweets, and I actually was able to like freely scroll through a lot of the responses, I'd say it's probably a fraction. Because I have a lot from those two case studies, and you'll get to see the sheer amount of abuse that can be directed at a single artist when they switch to NFTs, and also particularly how long it can last for. Still, for all these instances I've seen, you can find breadcrumbs, you can find abuse, but mostly what you find is indications that abuse happened. Like, for instance, there's now a lot of deleted tweets from posts from artists where the replies indicate that it was an NFT announcement post. These artists would stop doing NFTs almost immediately after and delete all the links to like NFT sites on their account. But the deletion of the origin tweet to these replies simply announcing NFTs indicates to me that they simply deleted just to try and stop the harassment they were getting. This was a case I found for Kikuo Sound, Sekimichi-chan Art, Forakli, and Artureta. Actually, Artureta from context and screenshots I salvaged simply floated the idea with their followers and still deleted the post after anyway for some reason. It doesn't look so much like they're dodging criticism as some people will try to put it. It definitely looks like they're trying to cut down the harassment. And when you get replies to just floating the question like, people who sell NFTs are almost as despicable as the people who actually buy them, is it really surprising? For Akali even wrote one random tweet where they mentioned getting a commission request that wasn't actually a request, but instead someone telling them to kill themselves. I don't have evidence it actually happened, nor do I know if it was even related to their bout into NFTs, but I wouldn't be fucking surprised. It literally happened the same day they announced NFTs, and saying I have evidence of a precedent for this is a serious understatement. And I'm not even talking about ominous, unsettling meme images people send to artists who don't even speak English. I remember when Twitter had this huge viral tweet about how you shouldn't send ironic meme images to foreign artists, even when the intention behind it was good-natured, because the artists who don't speak the language will interpret it as malicious. Here people are actually sending it maliciously, and no one has said jack shit. By the way, the one NFT for Akali sold before stopping happened at an all-time high for Ethereum. They earned 1,300 USD on this one image. For Akali only has 13k followers. Imagine making that much money as a small artist from a single piece of art, and then your salvation is ripped away from you by the realization that if you keep going, people are going to keep telling you to kill yourself and whatever other god-awful messages she was getting. That's a lot of money, so while I don't have any screenshots for actual abuse for this one, we can probably assume that she was getting enough abuse to justify sacrificing that amount of money. This is why I say that most of the abuse was probably deleted. Generally speaking, small artists get a lot less abuse, but it does happen, which you'll see later, and there's a pattern of people claiming it happened too. Even Perry Trago, who only just now has over 1,000 followers, claims that she had someone tell her, "I hope your art goes nowhere like NFTs and your family burns." I don't even think Perry Trago had an existing audience to turn on her. I'm pretty sure she started out as an NFT account and still got this. Anyway, returning to artists who jumped in and jumped out, Kikuo Sound is another artist who switched to NFTs and then quickly deleted everything. Probably because they were getting comments like, anyone who sells an NFT, regardless of person, will be burned, 3 likes, and you'll get the flames, NFTs are bad no matter who engages in it, 27 likes. And why? So you can normalize selling that garbage? And people who don't respect the environment don't deserve any. I'm very sad that a talented artist like you would ask this. 9 likes. That's a bold statement, my dude. I hope you did your due diligence to check that was right. It didn't even matter that Kikuo from Context was planning to buy like carbon credits or doing something else to try and make up for the supposed environmental damage. I put the quote retweets on the wrong thing, but whatever. The comments were still this toxic. Unacceptable. Regardless of where the money goes, the process to produce NFTs is still destroying the planet. Even if the money went to organizations that help the environment, destroying the environment to produce that money is still hypocritical. 57 likes. It's not a matter of where the money is going, but how did you make that money? And using NFTs is a bad way of financing yourself. It's destroying the environment, putting poor countries in an even worse situation for money that can disappear as soon as tomorrow. Don't do it. 7 retweets, 84 likes. Setting aside the fact that this doesn't make any fucking sense, like, they're trying to meet you halfway here. Could you not stand to do just like a little bit more polite? Why do you sound like a helicopter mum? Unacceptable. Don't do it. Why is it this harsh? They're trying to find a compromise, and quite a good one too. If you know what carbon credits are, you're effectively paying money to a company to reduce their carbon emissions by a certain amount, effectively cancelling out your impact. But this isn't good enough because it's hypocritical. I thought it was the environment that mattered, not the optics. It's almost like you never cared about the environment and were willing to pop up any fucking bullshit, highly disputed analysis as long as it helped your actual motive. If you're a bigger artist that makes a lot of money on Patreon, like Sakamichi-chan art, you suddenly get people aggressively telling you have no right or justification to make NFTs, even though I have seen far smaller artists get harassed anyway. Don't you make like 6 figures on Patreon? Fuck you need NFT money for. 800 retweets, 7k likes. Why the fuck are you using NFTs? 26 likes. Thousands of patrons, and yet you still decide to squeeze money from your fanbase by selling them a scam. Piss off, lol. 3 retweets, 140 likes. My whole respect for you is now dead. 10k monthly patrons and you still need to sell your soul for money. Poor Sakamichi-chan. She earns so little money per month she's obliged to give NFT to eat at the end of the month. I saw @Sakamichi-chan quietly deleted her main NFT tweet, but it's still on a less known Safe for Work account. It's frankly disgusting for an artist to be making this much money to go into NFTs. Judging by that tweet deletion, she already knows that. 52 retweets, 378 likes. And of course, for good measure, they'll throw in a, it doesn't help small artists, even though they've made no effort to actually look for them. No, NFT is good because it helps small artists, XDDD. Literally only big artists have been jumping onto it. 37 likes. Have you tried looking? It helps small artists my ass. This shit is only good for people who are already making bank. Just say you're greedy and want even more money and you don't care what happens to get it. And be done with it. Ugh. Of course, none of this even accounts or gives any benefit of the doubt for what their personal financial situation might be, and maybe if they need more money. Why? There's not a single reason for you to need to get into NFTs. Incredibly disappointing. What a shame. 32 retweets, 1,639 likes. Oh yeah, I don't know, like fucking medical bills, debts, maybe there's a lot of people in your life that are dependent on them. Dare I say it, maybe they're not as privileged as you. Something Twitter liked to care about up until like 5 fucking minutes ago, but don't you worry, we'll get to that with another artist. But no, fuck that. Send an artist you don't know the personal situation of an image saying degenerates like you belong on a cross and somehow have fucking 170 people to agree with you. Hell, why stop there? Accuse them of scamming their fanbase and then tell them to piss off. 140 like. Make fun of their art, because I guess apparently they draw an incorrect number of fingers sometimes, and then just like post an image flipping them off. 24 likes somehow. Or maybe just keep it simple and call them a garbage person or just say fuck you. 35 likes. Sakamichi-chan is interesting actually. They recently had a controversy where they made a anime pinup poster of an aged up character who's a child in the original anime. This resulted in a similar reaction with people in the replies and quote retweets even sending things as bad as saying that the artist's hand should be chopped off and to kill themselves. I suppose technically you could say this is another example of Twitter backstabbing artists. In fact, there are a few things you can do on Twitter as an artist that will get you very toxic comments. Fan art of underage fictional characters, fan art of incest, even certain ships between characters that the fandom doesn't like will get you sent death threats. There's also instances where artists will make character skin tones too light for Twitter's liking, or just straight up like swapping characters' races from either tone, black to white or white to black. Both will get you nasty comments. But what makes the difference for me between these things and NFTs is I'm not necessarily sure if the people that have the huggy-wuggy protect artist mentality are the same people, or even if they're just complicit in it, because in these instances, a lot of people are still on the artist's side. Just like in line goes up, there's a lot of fairly sensationalist stories you see around with this sort of thing where they'll like always trawl through like a ton of positive comments to find a few really bad, really negative comments, even if you can see by the likes that no one agrees with them. And these kind of posts always get like a fucking insane amount of pushback too. Even in instances like this one with Sakamichi-chan, people are divided. Yeah, people are sending really negative comments, but there's also people sending really positive ones, and there's loads of pushback on the negative ones. If you actually scroll through all the quote retweets for Sakamichi-chan's fan art, you'll notice over half the quote retweets are positive. Unfortunately, I fucked up somehow and I didn't record this, and now I can no longer see the quote retweets because of that fucking glitch. But even if you just look at the top 2 comments, it's completely contrary opinions, both with similar amounts of likes, and both comments have significant amounts of pushback. You can also just look at the likes and retweets to quote retweets. People are obviously split. Even with the most inflammatory posts by artists like race swapping, whether it be black to white or white to black, the likes are often much bigger than the quote retweet. But when we get into the one time the quote retweets actually work for me with an NFT artist, this will absolutely not be the case. It is all hate and no pushback. This perfectly explains why Sakamichi-chan, despite the controversy and all these tweets, didn't delete the offending post, nor did they hold off posting the full drawing once they finished it because the post was just a teaser. Despite everything, they posted it anyway, so clearly they have pretty thick skin. However, they destroyed the NFT tweet within a couple of days. Do you see what I mean? Does that maybe put it in perspective how bad it got? It's because not only is there more people who hate NFTs this much to send artists this shit, but also everyone else is just kind of okay with it and say nothing because they hate NFTs too. So for an artist who just switched to doing NFTs, your feed ends up being like 95% negative, and while the majority aren't abuse, there is still a large portion that is, and everyone else does not give a fuck. This is why I say this was a backstab when I don't say that with other Twitter hate mobs towards artists, because effectively nobody speaks out against this. All the supposedly pro-artist people, who at least should have cared enough to speak up against the abuse, even if they didn't agree with NFTs, are just fucking gone. Unlike all of the other controversies, nobody is defending these artists, which means these pro-artist people are either taking part in the abuse themselves or they're complicit in it. The non-negative stuff is incredibly rare. Best case scenario, you might get like a negative comment with like 100 likes, and then maybe someone will defend you, like, dude's making any money off his art, let him be. Gets 8 likes, gets blasted with 18 comments, some of which being suspiciously deleted now or from suspended accounts. That's not the only time I've seen deleted comments with a bit of defense, but normally what I see is like one hate comment with like 200 likes and one tweet of pushback saying read the fucking room with like 0 likes. Oh my god, that's literally the same guys in the other thread. That's how few people are defending these artists. Barring some exception cases, that's as good as it gets. Like that one with 8 likes is legit one of the best I've seen so far as defending artists goes. I'm like, oh shit, 2 people defended them and one got 8 likes. Oh, this is doing numbers. That's what this feels like. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Also, did I mention you get put on a list? Yeah, there's a list and an app. An account called AntStyles, who I've shown in a few tweets before, literally created a list called Artists Not Worth Your Time or Money so that people can block them. And Sakamichi-chan is still on it even though they stopped making NFTs. I think that was the idea though. Like, this isn't even like a list of people to boycott until they stop. This is just for people who ever got into it. This is a theme we're going to get into, actually. Like, even if you back out of NFTs because of the backlash, that shit doesn't matter. You're still demonized. This account also made an app that just like automatically blocks thousands and thousands of NFT artists for you, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. He also has a number of huge articles on why NFTs are bad that regularly get shared around. I'm not going to point by point them because a lot of the same core arguments you can find against NFTs tend to be the same, but with like more or less detail. Case in point, in one page, here's 3 of the huge outright lies I tackle in this video, including one of which I've already tackled. Again, I say lies because anyone willing to do this much research should have immediately seen blindingly obvious contradiction. NFTs, on the other hand, have no such defenses. Yes, they can be used by any artist around the world, but the vast majority of artists who will profit from them are those who are already doing exceptionally well for themselves without NFTs. The argument that it will make it easier for artists in, e.g., developing countries to make a living is a little more than a smokescreen. Dude, I literally know a small artist in Brazil who owns a fucking house now. They sent me pictures. I've seen it. They bought the house outright too. They do their own art and collaborate with others, but they actually made most of their money just because they were an artist in the space, and that made it possible to become friends with a lot of other artists who happened to start profile pics and gave out free complimentary promo NFTs to them for those projects that resold for a ton later. Don't want to count that? That's fine. Even in just flat earnings from NFTs, Dibicato has made 155 ETH, and they're from Brazil too. They probably bought a house outright with that money as well. Though, they have 200k followers on their Instagram, so they are technically a big artist. Still, not big enough to buy a house outright in a single year, no matter how many fucking commissions and prints you sell. But okay, let's talk small artists. There's another artist I know called Jules Blanc, who, by the way, apparently lives in one of the most dangerous cities in the world, and another called Kami. They're both from Brazil. Jules has made 6.52 ETH, 13k USD, and they only have 3k followers. And Kami has made about 6 ETH as well, with only about 5k followers. Although, to be fair, Jules recently lost their wallet to a phishing scam and lost a bunch of money. That is, I think, one legitimate criticism of this space. Unlike crypto in general, NFTs have brought in a bunch of people who don't have an inherent understanding or passion in the technology, or like computer technology in general, and as such, have likely never had to practice or internalize why they need to be vigilant with cybersecurity. Most of these people have never been targets of high-yield phishing scams before that can literally only require you to, click a link. Nor are many of them the types of people who enjoy watching things like scam call channels on YouTube and know much about the process and, red flags. If you're a tech bro, though, that shit is lifeblood, and you were already well aware long before crypto that clicking on a single link can drain your entire Steam wallet of all your CSGO skins, let alone your crypto wallet, and potentially lose you tens of thousands of dollars. Actually, Jules did an article on their experience with some helpful info on avoiding scams, so if you're a new artist to NFTs, definitely give that a read. I'll put a link in the description. Thankfully, Jules seems to be getting back on their feet. Someone set up a donation link and they just recently sold an NFT and got 700 USD. Also, their recent tweets aren't doom and existential suffering, so they're getting that. Anyway, most artists don't even say where they're from like Jules does. I only learnt Kami is from Brazil because she mentioned her currency once. By similar logic, I believe Hane Faduzzi, Bago Sanguito, and another artist I know called February and Graves, who's quite successful, are all from Indonesia. Oh, also Kusin Kessel, one of our under 1k followers, over 1k USD artists. They're from Indonesia too. Oh, and Seek Goliath, another one of our 1k over 1k, is from the Philippines, which is also a developing country. Actually, while I was polishing the script, another artist came to my attention that really blew my mind. Benning Baja has only 14k followers on their Instagram and Twitter. They've made 57 Ether. Ether's down by a lot right now, but even as I write this, that 57 ETH they earned is in total worth 100k USD. And where are they from? Indonesia. Also, Malaysia is debatably third world. Rochelle is an artist who's only made a couple of pieces and has only made $5 grand so far, but that's because she's busy working on a pretty hype profile pic project called Neko Nation that'll no doubt make a bank. It has randomized cats, so there's different traits, it's pretty cute. But she lives in Malaysia, which in her own words is third world. This actually kind of confused me a bit at first because I had a different image of Malaysia in my head. Luckily, I actually have a friend that's from Malaysia, so I asked him, and in his own words, Malaysia has got first world amenities but third world financial markets, which is why Malaysia is a great tourist spot for Westerners. I respond, that would probably be why I associate it with being richer. And he responds, we are like Arab, we look like we balling, but we ain't. I'm like, okay, it's like Dubai, that makes perfect sense. Honestly, this is the kind of awkward thing with all this. Definitions for things like developing countries and third world are a bit nebulous and change depending on how you define it and who you ask. But I think the point is really about, quite literally, starving and poor artists in poor countries who aren't as privileged. And for that, I actually have a thread later in this video where people in a lot of poorer countries like these talk about their rates and what they were like before NFTs and how much they're making now. And that shit is crazy for all of these countries. Google will tell you places like Thailand and newly industrialized, their fucking rates don't look like it. Also, PayPal was just banned in Indonesia. I literally saw a tweet from another artist who is, even at the bottom of the market crash, under 1k followers but has made over 1k in profits, being like, my country blocked PayPal, small artists really can't live here. But they weren't talking about themselves, they were talking about normal small artists, commission artists. This artist, however, is fine because they use crypto and because they're an NFT artist. So, I don't know, Ant Styles, you keep going on about how only big artists are profiting, and it's not good for artists in developing nations. Have you tried looking? Like the example I showed before with the deleted tweets, there's also a number of other little breadcrumbs from this time indicating that people saw a lot more harassment that has since either been deleted, or I just can't track it down now through the fucking ass search function. But I believe this wholeheartedly, because even if you've never made NFTs like Sass Manila and were just like, it's literally so confusing and frightening to see people witch hunt artists for even following NFT accounts, especially when said artists do not mint NFTs or nor have any plans to do so. It shows your priorities are bullying others and ego boosting yourself. You get people telling you your brain is genuinely rotted as fuck, and 33 people fucking agree with you. You also get people trying to literally just rebrand and justify it like, it's more frightening to see how bad NFT is for the environment, but sure, it's scary when they get called out for supporting/indulging in something that ruins our environment. 144 likes. Called out? That's what we're calling it? There's someone in the exact same thread saying the poster's brain is genuinely rotted as fuck just for being concerned for artists that simply associate with NFT artists. Can you believe this has over half the number of likes as the original tweet? This person almost got ratioed for saying, don't abuse artists just for following NFT artists. That's insane. In fact, they did get ratioed by a quote tweet going, y'all are really calling us witch hunters over being against NFT centrists. 235 likes. With a follow-up tweet going, harassing small artists, they have 15k followers. Are you okay? 108 likes. Remember this account, by the way. This is one of the big players in this. We'll come back to it. But can you imagine getting pushback big enough to ratio you on a tweet as innocuous as don't harass small artists who don't even make NFTs but follow accounts that do? And Sasmonella wasn't even for protecting artists unilaterally. They specified everyone should prioritize pressuring artists that profit the most from this rather than small artists, and it still gets that much pushback. I think that's why this is like the only even like moderate sized tweet I have from an artist that actually spoke out about any of the abuse. I have seen tweets from this account I showed before that actually imply a lot of big artists spoke against the abuse at first. If true, they were presumably all deleted because of the backlash, because I could not find a single one by the time I started looking into this. That's why this one still exists, because it was only halfway defensive rather than fully. Which isn't surprising. Nobody even wants to work with you if you do NFTs. Mochi, an NFT artist we'll talk about in a bit, has reportedly tried to commission multiple artists and riggers for VTuber models, but gets shut down just because she does NFTs. There was even a post where someone shared screenshots of a conversation with an NFT bro trying to commission them, who, to be fair, was making a bit of a fool of himself. But the first comment in reply to the artist was, just means I'm blocking you for doing NFT work, lol. What did you stand to gain from showing some dude obviously just fucking with you, lol? This got fucking 164 likes. There was even an artist who got into VTuber models, who then got into NFTs and made like this big apology to like VTube streamers they'd done art for, that were now worried about being associated with them. And apparently, if I understand this correctly, because their English is a little broken, those VTubers started hiding the credit to the artists in their streams just because they started doing NFTs. If you're an artist who does NFTs like Yuiko and try to like speak your mind, it gets even worse. You've already seen the post from AntStars literally calling two artists, Yuiko included, a disgrace to art because of their NFT propaganda that was apparently for their own selfish benefit, not, just because they genuinely believe it. They even went so far as to agree with the commenter that they're spineless grifters who'd sell their own family for an extra $1. Like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with you? But also, artists like Yuiko who are openly pro-NFT get such ridiculous amounts of hate generally, and it's like for the most innocuous shit too. Regardless of what anyone thinks about NFTs, it's not a reason to attack them. Jumping to, if you're not with us, you're against us is a dangerous mentality and unproductive way to handle things. I'm about to attack your IRL with a metal pipe or something. That was the fucking response to that. Also, no one cares, shut the fuck up, shut your bitch ass up, shut the fuck up bitch, and you wonder why no one respects your ass. My god, you're insufferable. I hope you enjoy hell. Look at the amount of emission cryptocurrency makes and how many GPUs have been sacrificed for this sacrilegious technology. Anyway, support real artists by giving them the real money they deserve. Jesus Christ. For artists who decide to keep doing NFTs in spite of the backlash, there's similar context clues. Etama Cuomo disabled their replies to strangers sometime after they started doing NFTs, and have disabled them ever since. And with people in the comments even in that short amount of time calling any artist who does it brain dead, who can blame them? Oh, but just do commissions, man. I'll pay for it in a heartbeat, because I care so much about you. I care so much about you, you brain dead fucks. Come on. Meanwhile, artists like Emyo started disabling replies on NFT posts and even made an entirely new account just for NFTs. In fact, as of now, Emyo has stopped advertising their NFTs entirely on their main account, even though they still make them. Of course, this isn't surprising when just announcing this account in the first place resulted in shut the fuck up with 1 retweet and 4 likes. There's also artists like Sao who don't link directly to their NFT page, instead just keeping it within a link so it's a bit more hidden, but they're still able to verify it's the same account. There's also a fairly big artist YouTuber called Naoki Saito with 900k followers who actually started doing NFTs, and even the YouTube comment section for that is pretty toxic. This is where I found the YouTube comments I showed earlier about small artists. But around 10:30, he even mentions how artists get attacked for this.
が特にフォロワー数が多い人は NFT をやると表明した時点で思ってもみなかったバッシングを受けることは高い可能性で考えられます。
He also has some delightful comments like, "Thanks for spreading this cancer. You don't deserve any of the attention you get," and ended up being an awful influence to new and young artists. It's not even disappointing, it's just plain pitiful. Quite recently, while I've been polishing the script, two artists I've mentioned, Mochi and RNG Sekai, have come out and talked about their experience, and it's honestly pretty heartbreaking. Also, I just want to point out, this was May 17th, months and months after they switched to NFTs. Just a note on why I no longer post NFT-related stuff on my main anymore. The amount of NFT hate I get from my main is insanely huge. Every day I get swamped by hate comments. People wish for you to die, wish your family and your dogs die, wish good things never come for you. They expect people with big followers to be perfect, can't even vent or complain because they follow us for the art, not personal life. We can't promote NFTs because it's a bad influence on others. We can't sell our art as NFTs because we're greedy and only care about money, which we work for, by the way. They expect us to only post art for them for free. I know it's nice and all to see that you're appreciated, but at the end of the day, we have to feed our family. So from there, the hobby becomes a job. I have some people, after I block them for being mean in the comments, coming to my other social medias to be petty on why they were blocked and continue to say hurtful things to me. Oh my god, especially with the people who always say, "I used to be a fan, but..." Always the people who say they were a fan. If you were a fan, you would understand whichever choice your artist makes and either continue to support us or leave us peacefully. Because to be honest, you already hate us in the past and you were just waiting for an excuse/opportunity to strike. Mochi quote retweeted this on her NFT account and said, "NFTs have damaged my reputation so much in the art community. I don't get anywhere near as much work as I did before. Lost friends, many followers, signed up to spam and vulgar things constantly." That's a new one, I haven't heard that before. "Hate mail, death threats. I think everyone in NFTs have experienced all of the above. Part of me wishes I never made it public on my normal Twitter account. Wish I just kept it quiet on the side. I could have kept those friendships, but it does make me think, were they my friends to begin with if they stopped supporting me because of something so trivial? It baffles me how quick people are to change their tune about something they know little about. We are treated as if we've committed a horrible crime. I'm not even exaggerating. When NFTs first came to the surface, there was a Twitter thread on finding artists, basically witch hunting and blacklisting them from the art community, talks of doxing and getting accounts suspended. Every time I go on my normal Twitter account, I don't feel welcome. I feel completely shunned from the art community and the VTuber community. When I post art, it doesn't go as well as it used to. I can't seem to gain followers like I did anymore. It's really hard for me to grow now. But I can only blame myself for being naive about people on the internet as a whole. I underestimated the wrath of the woke brigade. I don't wish this upon anyone. It's a horrible, traumatizing experience in its own way. Here's a great example of what just happened in response to my quote retweet. See what I mean? And no, I'm not rich in the slightest. I just want to be clear, I'm not trying to direct hate at this person, I'm just showing proof. I have really bad anxiety right now speaking about this. I'm terrible at confrontation. I'd rather run away from it like a coward in all honesty, but it needs to be made more aware, and I wanted to support Orange's case as well. Sorry for all the tweets. I just have a lot bottled up from everything that happened. I've barely spoken about it only to close ones. Talking about it again is really upsetting, as having regrets in my life really takes a toll on you. And ironically, the NFT community have the most supportive, kindest people I've ever met. I've made some really great friends on here, and have made some fond memories. You don't find this in the VTuber community and art community in the amount of years I've been in it. Gosh, the amount of support is just overwhelming. I was literally not expecting this. Thank you for everyone, your kind words. Mwah. Probably didn't have to read that part out. Also, since my normal work has dried up a lot more, I'm constantly concerned that I'm going to have to quit art and get a full-time job since I can't rely solely on NFTs. It has been on my mind for a while now. If it happens, it happens, but I hope it doesn't come to that. Most of what I've shown up until this point has been quite bad, but quite minimal. And a lot of what I have is breadcrumbs, indications of more. As I've covered, getting screenshots for all this is a pot shot. It gets easier when the more recently you catch it, but things can be deleted very quickly and at any time for any reason. So a lot of what we're left with is breadcrumbs like this. But I have two big case studies where everything just sort of worked. One actually started pretty far back in 2021, but it just so happens that a lot of big viral tweet threads weren't deleted for once, which made it much easier to find and record abuse. Of course, a lot of tweets within those threads were probably still deleted, but what this case study is good for is showing you how long-lasting the abuse is. You'll see what I mean. The other instance came much later in the year, and because I was actually around for it, the quote retweets luckily didn't glitch out for me, and I could see what this abuse was like in full force. And holy shit, you are not ready for the sheer amount of spite and toxicity. But let's start with the first case study. This is Malin-T Fouch. She is a Norwegian artist with about 100k followers that's well known for her Legend of Zelda fan art, especially her homages to famous paintings with Zelda characters. Her original tweet announcing her first NFT is now deleted, but screenshots date this on March 19th, 2021. I don't know what the quote retweets to it were like, or even the comments, but it's fine because the backlash was so great that I can track it far beyond the initial tweet. First off, and this is kind of a side note, I believe she got added to a list. No, not that list, the other list. Yes, there are lists, plural. You know the guy earlier that pushed back on Saspinella for saying to not abuse small artists? Well, he made a public list of NFT losers, which to this day is being regularly updated with NFT artists. Although, the Succulent Bud account has been inactive for months, so I think it might be an automatic list that just accepts community editions. I don't know. Either way, it has been people recommending it, like, definitely follow this list at Succulent Bud has made. I've blocked 100+ accounts thanks to them. It really sucks seeing artists/musicians become NFT scumbags. By the way, the creator of this list also has some fucking absolutely unhinged tweets. My girlfriend is complimenting me for getting NFT artists, and I'm just like, yeah, this is my life now. The NFT hunter! The NFT hunter! I suppose this one comes off like more as a joke, but okay, how about this? I'm feeling a lot of emotions when now, suddenly, Big Art Twitter, again, there's that deflect onto big artists again, is saying we shouldn't attack others, but is silent when marginalized groups are constantly harassed on this site. You guys really aren't that slick, huh? What kind of a comparison is this? I don't know, people are weird. Big Art Click Twitter just isn't worth it at this point. When one of them gets bullied, cough, for NFT neutrality, and they all come up in support, bro, where were you? So basically, a bunch of big artists who are probably like 100k followers where there's users says big art like it's big pharma, when, hey, I'm not for or against NFTs, but can we not bully artists just for trying to better their livelihood? And then this user made a public list of NFT losers and put a bunch of artists in it, tries to imply that because the artists are not engaged enough in the issue he cares about to make a public tweet, then therefore it is okay to bully them. Bullying isn't okay, but if you ignore bullying, then it's okay for me to bully you. While there is a fair few completely unwarranted and disgusting messages with no justification, a lot of the abuse you see in this space always comes with this annoying little caveat of justification. Oh, you ignored bullying, so it's okay. Oh, you're participating in a scam, so it's okay. Oh, you're ruining the planet, so it's okay. In fact, they deserved it is a very common phrase I saw when confronted with the hate they spew. Just ignoring the fact that simply Google searching for counterarguments for these issues makes them a lot more complicated in terms of the technicals of how blockchains actually work, to the point that these people themselves definitely haven't tried to learn enough from all the available information to deem themselves judge, jury, and executioner. The arguments I'm going to use at the end of the video, I never saw anyone try to address. They're just ignored. No one ever has a discussion on them, even though they have been available since 2019 and published in the same journal as the original claim. We'll get to it. Point is, this shit is abusive and terrible without justification, and it's just as abusive and terrible with a justification. It's not a justification, it's an excuse. Anyway, not only did Malin get put on a fucking list, she got hammered with tweets, some with a really big amount of retweets just trying to get as many people as possible to unfollow or block her, and I'm not even talking about like the initial NFT tweet. 5 days after, on a completely irrelevant art post from Malin, someone quote retweets, "Heads up for everyone still supporting them, OP is very pro NFT art." 1,579 retweets, 1,947 likes. Ironic how a Breath of the Wild artist doesn't give a shit about the environment. You see what I mean? What an assertion to make about someone you've never met. What a harsh way to do it too. Damn, I really like the art. Me too. Seems like no big artist can be a decent person these days. 36 likes. What a fucking disappointment. I hope you lose all your money in the pyramid scheme, but not even the environmental damage you'd cause would be worth it. Jesus, 8 likes. There was also more of this. NFTs do not help smaller artists. 88 likes. It is incredibly disappointing to see such a highly profiled Norwegian comic artist support NFTs. NFTs aren't only harmful to small creators. Lies. It's also incredibly harmful to the environment. Lies. If you're aware of both of these things yet still continue to support NFTs, I can no longer in good conscience support you. You have comic books selling in Norwegian and other Scandinavian bookstores. There could have been many other ways for you to make more money other than profiting off a system that's destructive for others. 43 likes. She even tried to defend herself in some of these comments, like, hey, I make NFTs to make money, how is this much different to, like, driving for work? And, like, got fucking blasted with more quote tweets like, this was so dumb, and Cosmo and Wonder, I wish centrists would vanish off the face of the earth. I just want to point out that if this was directed at any other artist on Twitter, they would have called it a death threat. And there was even one that was asserting that she should just live paycheck to paycheck on commissions just because she had a choice. And like, the fucking attitude it was said with. You chose to engage with it when you didn't need to. Most people don't have a choice. Now live with it. Muting this now. I've said my piece. Hope the money was worth it. By the way, all of this is a response to her response to the Dogpile tweet, where she was just arguing that you shouldn't harass or blacklist artists for engaging with something that was condemned by a single article. Shh, don't tell anyone, but the article she's talking about has like 3 rebuttals, published by the same journal. But yes, this is totally scientific consensus, and you're not just taking the one you liked and running with it so far that you try to ruin people's lives with it. Of course not. There's also a bunch of tweets saying that they were going to block. Not unfollow, but block, which is a pattern we've seen before. This is quite telling for me, because if the artist changes their way and you feel you can support them again, you're never going to learn about it. So it prompts the question, how is blocking them getting them to stop doing NFTs? If they can't get their following back, what's even the point? You should know better. Blocked and unfollowed. This one was sent to Melon. 58 likes. Well, I'll be blocking you. 18 likes. I'm so sad to see this. I really enjoyed your art, but I can't support people using NFTs. I hope your experience trying this is worth the damage you've done to your followers' hearts. 6 likes. I love their art so much, and then they went and did that NFT shit. I have them blocked now. Yeah, all that talent wasted. Don't like them. There was also a ton of follow policing, as shown here. Even a week after, she was getting comments on a relevant post like, how much are you going to destroy the environment to mint this one for, clown? You sell prints but feel the need to do NFTs? Yikes. And okay, pay attention, because this gets good. Even if we cycle a month on, we're still getting viral tweets. In fact, there were 2 viral tweets and 1 semi-viral tweet over a month after Melon's first NFT. Here were 2 of them. Heads up, artist deals in NFTs, 58 retweets, 111 likes. And, hey y'all, heads up, this artist advocates and deals in NFTs, with a whopping 876 retweets and 3,758 likes. April 19th. But maybe you're thinking, oh, this isn't that bad, not compared to the stuff I showed at the start. But hold on, it gets worse. You know why? Because Malin stopped doing NFTs. She caved and stopped doing NFTs within the same month she started. She only ever made 1 NFT, and I don't even think she sold it before she took down the sale page. Those tweets I just showed you were posted well after she stopped doing NFTs, which means they were total lies. They were trying to cancel her because of something she already backed out of. And that's not the only lie. Even as far as July, she was getting tweets like, that Melon T. Fouch artist gets on my nerves because they deleted all their NFT tweets thinking they're so slick. No, I think she deleted them because she was getting harassed, and then she stopped making NFTs to appease you, and you took it as she was hiding it. Don't believe me? Here's another big tweet in this time that made the rounds, which was in July 2021, by the way. It said, the proof since they did a dirty delete and lied to say they're not involved in anything NFT related. And she responded to this thread saying, yeah, I did do an NFT. Since then, I burned it and didn't mint it anymore, knowing that it's not for my fan base. I wouldn't ever say I'm against NFTs, that would be a lie, but I don't plan on doing it anymore. Do with that what you will. She was very open about this. She didn't even hide behind the, oh, I just didn't know how bad they were. She got blasted just for having the opinion that NFTs were okay. And the tweets in reaction to it prove it. It's a yikes from me, dude. God, that is so sad. Do you think Nintendo would be pleased that you made an NFT using their copyrighted characters? Is this a threat? Fan artists have been breaching copyright for years, and now suddenly it matters when it's NFTs. Are you seriously threatening to report a Twitter fan artist to a giant megacorporation just to get revenge? This tweet, where she had people responding to her, insinuating that they were going to message Nintendo for using copyrighted characters, isn't a response to her doing NFTs, it is a response to her saying she stopped doing NFTs, but she's not denouncing them. That's the case with all these tweets. They don't give a shit that she stopped. They wanted blood. There was no thank you or I'm glad you changed your mind, just frowny faces, rhetorical questions, and snide remarks like, ironic considering the content of your art, 6 likes. Forget boycotting and abusing artists for making NFTs. They're not even allowed to have an opinion. Are you starting to see a pattern yet? Is it starting to make sense why Twitter and anything anti-NFT related just wipe the existence of certain artists under the rug, all while parading around how pro-artists they are? It's disgusting. It's almost like they don't care about the environment. They care about shutting artists up. As I said, this isn't the only viral tweet around this time. Hey y'all, heads up that this artist advocates and deals in NFTs. 876 retweets, 3,758 likes. This was April 18th. She had already stopped and deleted everything. This was a straight up lie that got 876 retweets. One person replied to this tweet and said, "Kinda sick of seeing artists tearing each other down here instead of working to educate and discuss." 0 likes. And the tweet creator responds, "Artists have had plenty of time now to educate themselves on the enormous disastrous environmental effects of this shitty pyramid scheme. If being fed up with selfish behavior that has harmful real-world impacts for the sake of profit is tearing down, so be it." 13 likes. And then for good measure, someone conflates any artist who does NFTs with art thieves. I could talk about how rich it is to talk about educating oneself when it's fucking April 2021 and this is a very new issue with plenty of black back and forth, but instead I'm just gonna say how rich it is to talk about educating oneself when you're getting people to dogpile an artist based on the fact that they're doing NFTs when they already caved and deleted it weeks ago. There is literally a screenshot of a post from Malin same day, like, "I don't sell NFTs," which is, I assume, this deleted tweet here where they referred to when saying that she lied, but it's not a lie. She doesn't sell them anymore. Nothing in the original statement implied she never did. She just says she doesn't sell them. It's this manipulative justification to call people whatever bad word they can under the sun that really is the more prominent abuse you find in these spaces. But it is without a doubt abuse. You can't just publicize someone who's a liar to thousands of people when it's not fucking true. She stopped. You got what you wanted, but it's not good enough. They first pushed her to delete everything, and then used that to spread lies about her. They won't even admit they're misinforming people when she corrected them. Given the fact that Malin was opposing anti-NFT narratives right from the get-go, and was against blacklisting and witch-hunting of artists, I think that put a black mark on her. They pushed her to back out and delete everything, and then they started maliciously lying about it to ensure she was ostracized, which you can tell because the lies and cancellation attempts were relentless. If there was a compassionate bone in their bodies, they care about not spreading lies, but instead, if you look at all her tweets, all the way up until her recent tweets, people are still trying to ruin her by spreading a lie that she works with NFTs, or otherwise trying to ruin her even though she already stopped. You sell prints but still feel the need to do NFTs? Yikes. 5 likes. March 30th. Wait, isn't this the NFT artist lol? 1 like, May 8th. We aren't forgetting you did NFTs. 10 like, 17th of May. Still a wonderful work. Shame they were selling it as a crypto NFT not too long ago though. July 18th, 1 like. Why do you support and have sold NFTs despite the elitism and toxicity it brings to the art community by being a scam? July 20th. How did 25 people agree with this word vomit? It's like a Gish Gallop argument, but like someone just like strung all the arguments into a single sentence. Did you stop doing NFTs so I can like you again? Because your art is really good. Oh, well, maybe I misjudged. And they deleted tweets, but still say they support that stuff. They just don't want backlash. Ugh, God damn it. August 2nd. An opinion. We are ruining artists' lives over opinions on something that happened months ago. Didn't you do NFT shit? 6 likes. October 11th. We ain't forgetting your NFT venture. 9 likes. October 13th. OP does NFT work and is very unapologetic about it, by the way. A total lie, 6 fucking likes, October 14th. And when she reposted the same image she minted as an NFT, but for phone ratio, it started another wave of retweets. Sad that they had to try and sell it as an NFT, 20 retweets, 189 likes. What purpose does this serve other than vindication? A year ago I drew this, reposting for Vertical Crop. Too bad you're an NFT artist, so get bent. 2 likes. This makes a great lock screen though, I appreciate it. 1 like. Wow, and suddenly art stealing becomes suddenly okay if you think they deserve it. New deal for animation, guys. And you know what, now that we're up to March 2022, it's actually recent enough that I can actually see the quote retweets without it glitching out. And so, from March 2021 to March 2022, a full year on from when she did one NFT and stopped within the same month, I can give you a look at the quote retweets of a recent post from Malin and show you the insane reality that she still gets shit. And I'm kicking myself for this, but for some reason I'm missing 2 of the screenshots in my files. I don't know how I managed to only save 2 of the 4 when I was looking at them at the same time, but for some reason I have them written down. I just can't show you the screenshot file, so fuck it. Those tweets read, They do NFTs, by the way, 4 likes. Again, total lies. Good art, but they do NFTs, 4 likes. The other 2 were Shut Up NFT Girl, 2 retweets, 4 likes. Lamau, I didn't realize a lot of NFT artists quietly deleted any evidence in hopes of pretending the people will just forget about it. 3 retweets, 12 likes. This was in March of this year. People are still calling her names and reminding everyone she did NFTs, and sometimes even lying that she still does them a full year later. She did 1 NFT and stopped a full year ago. This isn't a boycott. This isn't criticism. This isn't saving the planet. This is abuse. And if this is the shit she's getting a full year on, just imagine what the full list of comments and quote retweets must have looked like back when she was getting quote retweets with over 1,000 retweets. Remember, I showed you how often the worst tweets get deleted the more time passes. This was a year ago now. Now, I can't show you what that was like because it was so long ago, but I can still give you a feel for what it probably looked like because my next case study started in December of last year. And unlike the first case study, I was just starting to find out about this, so I have a lot more ammo. What I've shown you up until now has been bad. Allow me to show you the worst. So, Sayro Art was an art account that was fairly memey but had a lot of genuine creativity in like a unique 60 FPS smooth animation style. You might be wondering why I say was. Well, it's because she was harassed to the point she deactivated her account entirely, even though it had 100k followers. Sarah didn't just willingly deactivate her account either, she took down her Patreon as well. Twitter is going to do a lot of well poisoning in this one, and basically just doing anything to paint her as a bad person to justify their abuse. You know what Twitter is like, hate someone first, then scour every part of their online presence second to find something you can spin into a bad thing. A lot of this resulted in the idea that she's a soulless money grubber who will do anything for a buck, but I just want to point out ahead of time that this girl intentionally axed her own revenue source and her main source of advertising just to get away from the abuse. Okay. On December 2nd of 2021, Sarah uploaded this gift to Foundation to sell as an NFT. This is basically the incident that served as my introduction to a lot of this, so as a result, I didn't even think to take screenshots at this point. I've never documented Twitter stuff before. Unfortunately, the original art account was deleted before I saw it. Thankfully, the first tweet was actually tweeted out from both her main account and her NFT account, so I could still go back and take screenshots from the NFT account like a month later. But I don't know how much disappeared in that time. I could also use Twitter's broken-ass search function to salvage tweets from the deleted main account. See, I can't see the original tweet and have easy pickings of all the tweets underneath it. I can, however, advanced search for specific keywords that might be in the reply tweets and stumble across those replies that way. As a result, some of the tweets like this look like they could be from anywhere, but most of them have the tag @SayroArt or @NFTSayro, which is the alt account which she created to sell NFTs. Some don't have anything for some reason, but I guarantee all were found by searching Sayro as one of the keywords. Anyway, this is all to say that not only were the replies a month old and probably half deleted when I took the screenshots, I didn't even have easy access to all of them. Regardless, I'm about to drench you in abuse, in spite of the fact that everything I'm about to show you started on December 2nd and all happened in 3 days. So let's begin. In this 3-day period, we have weird personal comments. Are your balls for sale as an NFT? Insults. You know, I'm something of a fucking idiot myself, 36 likes. Paint art of a character flipping her off with 346 likes. Get fucked, motherfucker. NFTs more like no fucking thanks, you piece of shit, you fucking vermin. You should be actively cyberbullied. 4 likes. God, I hope this NFT shit is just because you're misinformed. 17 likes. They know what they're doing. They literally don't care, lol. Artist is a piece of shit. 8 likes, 1 retweet. Again, no pushback. There's also swearing at her and telling her to shut up. Shut the fuck up, NFT supporter, with a picture of the creepy meme dude who appears in the Mandela catalog, along with text saying, Lamau, bye bozo, 7 likes. Shut the fuck up, NFT art, 3 likes. Lol, get fucked, 19 likes. Dude's making money of his art, let him be. No, get the fuck out. I understand artists resorting to new things to make a bill, but this? Fuck off, you know you fucked up, 6 likes. Aw, fuck you, bro. Bro, now you're doing NFTs? Fuck out of here. Fuck off, we don't want you around anymore. Fuck off, NFTer, 3 likes. We've also got art insults. People on my timeline saying, no, so sad amazing artist did NFT. That is a lie. This is not an amazing artist. NFT Sarah, look at what I'm saying. Your art is so bad. I am a hater of your art. It's horrible, super ugly. Learn to draw. You draw some of the worst art I've ever seen. Love it when an artist gets into NFTs so that now I can shit on their art. 8 likes. I can finally say this, your drawings of Curly Brace is dog shit, never touch Cave Story again. 2 retweets, 14 likes. Damn, I actually looked it up, and yes, it is shit. 1 like. Not surprising you went NFT considering all your art is just NFT art anyway. Lol. 2 likes. This one's just a picture of Crash Bandicoot with an easel saying your art is shit. It has 16 likes. Oh hey, someone's actually defending an artist again. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe there are more. Oh my god, it's the same guy as the previous one again. Better than you could ever draw, 0 likes. True, but it's always morally correct to bully NFT morons, 6 likes. I hope you achieve your dream, 1 like. I hope they don't, fuck NFT supporters, 1 retweet, 89 likes. Then there's this art stealing threat from before, and then there's like personal insults, like, your art was nice, too bad you sold out and started supporting and selling NFTs like a scumfuck, not to mention you disabled replies so nobody could tell what an asshole you are, 11 likes. You keep disabling comments on your art because we're all voicing our disdain for you doing NFTs. Actually pathetic, Lemao. Oh my god. Voicing disdain. Voicing disdain. You don't deserve support, and neither does any so-called artist who bucks into the NFT train. Your work deserves oblivion. What the fuck? 3 likes. Lightning McQueen here to tell you that NFTs suck, and if you make them, you are a sad, useless human being. 16 retweets, 210 fucking likes. Read the fucking room, 0 likes. Well, I read the room and it looks like you're in the wrong, buddy, 7 likes. Stupid NFT fan. Hope those NFT scumbags you support steal and market all your existing art like they did for millions of real artists who actually have a backbone. It's impressive how fucking quickly your cred as an artist tanked when you posted NFTs. Almost like it's a bad fucking idea, Lamau. Just for anyone new, this person is a crypto bro scumbag and makes NFTs, so don't support them. 2 retweets, 13 likes. You clearly didn't, you NFT shit. Maybe you should stop worrying about the virtual number on screen and start worrying about the environment, you sick fuck. 2 likes. NFT artists, and then there's just a picture of 0. Does the image imply they are being scummy like 0, or is it just a reaction of disappointment toward the artist? Because both are valid. It was more of this image just being funny to me, but honestly, yeah. They're literally comparing an artist who makes NFTs to someone who apparently has multiple accusations of being a child sex offender. I can't make this shit up. There was also this art stealing threat from before. There's also a bunch of admittance of harassment. Me when I get backlash after defending harassment of an NFT artist. Then there's like seemingly an ironic sad face, 1 like. You can always cyberbully NFT bros, it's always morally correct. 8 retweets, 212 likes. By the way, multiple accounts have posted this multiple times on other posts. 6 retweets, 139 likes, 2 retweets, 64 likes. How about suspicious deleted tweets from suspended accounts from people replying like, dude, I agree with environment is a priority, but don't fucking harass her for it. 0 likes. This tweet is from a suspended account. Go cry and stop harassing someone, you dipshit. 0 likes. Then someone whose tweets are now deleted seemingly responds in defense of Sarah to someone flipping her off and somehow getting 346 likes, and after someone responds, I bet you support this person that sells NFTs because the only thing they draw is women with big breasts. 25 likes. And then someone responds, I fucking hate NFTs, but that's it. The amount of harassment towards this person is too much. If someone gets harassed because they are selling a piece of art, do you think that's fair? I 100% agree that NFTs are fucking shit, but the harassment is even more shit. Again, 0 likes. By the way, respect to this guy. This guy is out in the fucking trenches, even though he's against NFT. Absolute respect for this guy for being one of the few consistent motherfuckers who wasn't complicit in this. Good on you, seriously. Speaking of, there's also some other tweets referencing death threats from the time. About Sarah Art's new NFT stuff, as much as I disagree with NFTs morally, hearing that threats are being made towards them is an even bigger no-go. Just because they want to auction off art like this is not a moral good in the public's eye. But the fact that people are sending death threats is simply not acceptable. While I would usually not support this, it has got to a point that I might as well start worrying about their mental health. 1 like, 1 retweet. Do you see what I mean about, like, there being no pushback? Like, it exists. Good on this guy, but, like, this guy is part of a tiny minority. There are so few likes on this stuff that it clearly never gets signal boosted. And given how quick Twitter is to tell people to not treat artists badly, there has to be pro-artist people that make up most of art Twitter that has to have seen this and are just okay with it. It is statistically likely that most people who have seen this have just been like, fuck it. Gutless traitors and hypocrites. The whole fucking lot of you. There's also threatening images like pictures of creepy Photoshop Sonic posted by itself, or like with text like, get a load of this dumbass, 87 likes, or get a load of this guy, 34 likes. It's not even the same person posting all these. There's also this one, @SarahArt. Me when the police come to take me to the electric chair. I kidnapped an NFT artist and ripped out their carotid arteries with a rusty screwdriver. And it has a picture of a guy in an electric chair saying totally worth it. I want to stress that while I don't have anything I'd consider true death threats, i.e. telling you where you live or saying matter-of-factly that you're going to come to their house with a shotgun, we've seen comments mentioning death threats, multiple artists have said they've got death threats, and tweets like this imply that a large majority of people feel justified in harassment and are okay with posting malicious things towards someone with direct references to death. If it wasn't for Twitter's stringent comment deletion system and culture around wiping your own history, there was absolutely some fucking death threats. I've noticed some of the worst comments I've seen are usually posted with funny images or GIFs or videos like we've seen with the video saying, "Kill yourself," with almost 1k likes. At first my interpretation of this was people posted vitriolic things with a touch of irony so they could fall back on "it's a joke." But now I think of it, I think it's because Twitter's auto-moderation system is very good at reading and distinguishing vitriol in text form, but it can't read text in images, GIFs, and videos. So after the auto-mod has swept through, it's just the media threats that remain. Which is why, lastly, for good measure, we have one goofy GIF with text flat out saying, "Kill yourself." Again, I want to remind you that the Folding Ideas video blatantly pretended NFT artists didn't exist in any capacity and certainly weren't able to make money, tried to represent the rest of the NFT community with tweets with a few admittedly distasteful tweets about art stealing with a maximum of like 3 likes, and then proceeded to somehow ignore all of this as if it wasn't a million times worse and happening a million times more. And of course, we have the absolutely unhinged tweet you saw at the start that got 154 retweets, 800 likes, even though it claimed NFTs didn't help artists, claimed artists who used NFTs were dumbasses, said they deserved to lose their career, said they needed to be ass blasted and never be acknowledged again, and for good measure, also called out Sarah specifically and insulted her art. Everything I just showed you happened within 3 days with nothing to prompt it other than an artist just making an NFT. Maybe you think it's just the exception and it wasn't happening to most of the artists who got into NFTs, and you might be right, but it's debatable. Again, this was the recent incident I managed to catch and screenshot, and I proved to you before that things get deleted very fast. Furthermore, this kind of backlash is very similar to what was described in the personal stories of some NFT artists like Mochi and Orange Sakai. The backlash you've seen is probably very similar to what the average NFT artist experiences. This wasn't the exception, this is probably the standard for accounts of this size. That said, we're not done. This was just the first 3 days for Seiro. Beyond this point, she would end up receiving even more hate from this, even though I would agree that while other artists of similar sizes probably got what she had initially in these 3 days and a decent amount of continuous abuse as time went on, Seiro, without a doubt, would suffer the worst abuse of anyone. Let's stop for a second. Even if you assume everything you've heard about the environmental damage of NFTs is true, which it's not, this was still an absolutely insane reaction for something that was not directly harming people and only would have had a real tangible effect on the environment in conjunction with others. It'd be like Twitter cancelling a YouTuber just for flying on private jets, which, by the way, they do. And even though, according to the completely fallacious per transaction energy cost that says one NFT transaction is roughly equal to flying on a private jet, there's no controversy. Fucking PewDiePie rode on a private jet recently, the one person you'd think Twitter would be ready to cancel, but no, nothing. God, it's not even like a private jet. There's no such thing as an electric private jet, so carbon emissions are inherently tied to them, but they're not inherently tied to crypto. Crypto is mined with electricity, meaning if everywhere in the world had nuclear or renewable energy, crypto would be net zero emissions anyway, no matter how much power it consumed. But for some reason, the artists must sacrifice their livelihood even though they're not inherently reliant on carbon emissions and they can't control the energy type alone in their country, let alone other countries. If a single NFT artist can't damage the environment alone, why the hell is it their responsibility to change the nuclear policy of their country, also alone? If nothing else, couldn't people stand to be a bit nicer, a bit more understanding? Between that and the disparity in abuse between small artists and big YouTubers on private jets, the whole thing just reeks of an agenda. The second you make an NFT, even if you're an artist, you're automatically considered to be an evil person and anything you do will be interpreted through that lens. We've even seen artists try to compromise and work around the supposed energy problems with crypto, but Twitter doesn't offer the same courtesy. These people are demonized even though they clearly don't want to hurt the environment either. Before Mochi even got into NFTs, she was asking about the environment and trying to work around the supposed issues. She didn't just see green and jump right in, but people will demonize you for it anyway. That happens even when you don't make NFTs and just have an opinion. And it don't even get me started on the complete disregard for any artist's personal situation. No, every action you take that can be given a context with an evil motive will be given it regardless of how many other possible interpretations exist. Speaking of, On December 6th, just one day later from all of this hate that Seiro got, things would be set to explode again, as the Twitter mob found something new they could apply this lens to, and it took on like wildfire. On December 6th, Seiro's NFT account auctioned off an NFT of a gif of a tiny water girl with water hair inside a plastic bottle being swished around. People saw this as having a resemblance to a popular character called Kelda by another artist called Akai Riot. So the new claim for justifying this atrocious behavior became, you stole someone's character and made it into an NFT, and would often end up being shorthanded into, you stole someone's art and sold it as an NFT. Now, you might notice something kind of weird about this, and yes, you're not wrong, Twitter is about to start a giant hate mob about stealing original characters over naked girls with water hair and fucking straight bangs. They do this as if straight bangs aren't a generic hairstyle, and water hair, as well as melting into water, isn't a common fantasy design. Oh my god, this anime stole Kelda too! Yes, this character is indeed so generic that while you could argue that this is Kelda, you could also argue it's a ripoff of Merc from Mercstoria, a niche mobile game that released in Japan in 2014 that you're probably just learning about now, as I was after the 3 or 4 Google searches it took to find something similar. This one arguably has just as many similarities with Kelda as the character is not only tiny, but in a bottle as well. You could also argue it's a ripoff of all these other random different characters I also found in the same Google search. You can even find the same shit in Adventure Time. So I don't know, you tell me, was this a ripoff or was it a coincidental selection of generic traits that when combined together happened to coincidentally look like a pre-existing character? I mean, the most unique trait I'd argue is that the water flows off the shoulders like a waterfall and covers the nipple and then falls until it reaches the ground. But the side strands don't even reach the water. Where is the tit waterfall? It doesn't even have the tit waterfall. Surprisingly, there was actually a few comments that even picked up on how ridiculous this was. They were a minority, but they were there. Good on them. This included that Adventure Time comparison. I'm not going to take credit for that. Oh my god, can you believe Adventure Time stole his art too? When will this madness end? Totally legitimate point. 2 likes. Do you really think your friend invented water hair? 2 likes. Big fucking reach. The concept of a pale girl with blue hair or water hair is no one's intellectual property, and they're not similar enough for someone to objectively say it's the same thing. 1 like. Love Akai's art and characters, but to say Seiro is stealing the character design seems like a bit much. Not from a prove intent standpoint, but because the character design is quite simple and girls with water hair aren't something new. Oh, 8 likes, big spender. Isn't this just a woman with boobs and blue hair? It might not be the same character? It's literally the same character. Go check the original. There's no identifying features. I just see a water elemental sloshing around. Exactly. The water hair is her most defining features. It's been completely stolen here. There could have been ways to do this artwork without completely ripping off someone else's character design. I've seen water hair a million times before. That's like saying fire hair is a unique trait. It's the same character. Simply looking at the original artist's work shows that. Has the original artist said anything, or are you just bored and looking for something to complain about? Some people even completely misunderstood, either because they couldn't make sense of such a dumb point, or possibly with willful ignorance since they don't correct their mistake. Not trying to defend NFT people, but the character is generic. Anyone could get a girl with blue hair and call it a water girl. It's not that creative. There's a difference between a girl having blue hair and straight up downloading artwork an artist once spent hours creating and then posted it to social media, submit to an NFT place, and making 30k from the artist's work. It's not the same image. The girl in the pic isn't the same one as the other one. Could you explain more why it's the same character? Please provide more info so I can say for sure that this is 100% a copy of the character. 0 likes. Oh, you got ratioed, despite being completely in the right. Look at these, like, why are they this close when it's so blatantly wrong? And nobody even comments back being like, oh, you're right, I lost my cool at the artist I pretended to care about. No, they just ignore it. This isn't even the only time this happened. This happened to me. I was arguing with someone it wasn't stolen, and it took me a few tweets to realize the guy was only looking at the image which is by Akai Riot, thinking that was the stolen one. And when I pointed out, didn't reply. Apparently, you care about artists when you think their work is getting stolen, but when you realize they're getting blasted over a viral tweet over nothing, you're like, oh well, shame I was wrong about it, on with my day, I guess. Anyway, despite how questionable all of this was, it didn't matter. There was an excuse. Art thief, 1 retweet, 47 likes. That fucking Seiro guy is literally scum of the earth. What kind of loser not only will decide to sell out to crypto scams, but also steal other artists' work to do so? Reported that asshole's profile and images as stolen from Akai Riot. This guy is literally trying to get people to misuse the report function and say that Seiro is impersonating Akai Riot. reported the tweet and account. Fuck these guys. Fucking scum. And he has comments off. What an asshole. Just in case you need another reason to hate this loser, NFTs help artists. There's that again. Fuck Zero, seriously. That OC is already way more popular than he will ever be through that one animation alone, but ooh, this gets me heated, stolen and making bank off it. And then they post a gif of someone loading a fucking gun. All of these posts came off the back of big viral tweets supposedly calling this out. NFT artists literally stealing another artist's OC and selling it? Bruh. 139 retweets, 862 likes. Sarah is just speedrunning getting everyone to hate them at this point, laughing my fucking ass off. Straight up stealing another's OC and selling them. Their account is at Sarah Art. They're hiding it all on their alt to avoid criticism. Yeah, criticism. 63 retweets, 462 likes. These were actually the smallest of the retweets. I'm sure there were probably more that are just now deleted, but the biggest, most viral tweets I actually have came from a couple of big YouTubers, Rebel Taxi and Ross O'Donovan. That's where I found most of these delightful comments, including the one with the fucking gun, as you can see from the tags. They really just ripped off Akai Riot's OC, Kelda, for an NFT, 452 retweets, 3,291 likes. Stealing at Akai Riot's character and repackaging it as an NFT to make $3,000. I'm so sick of these people. Want to support the real artist? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. 1.6k retweets, 13k likes. Yes, these two big YouTubers did indeed just blast an artist with 2k retweets worth of media presence brandishing a thief with no evidence over water hair and fucking straight bangs. Told you we'd get here eventually. Well, we have arrived at last and I was not fucking exaggerating. Now, to be completely fair, while I have no evidence of this, there are rumours this GIF was once old fan art of this OC, with Kelda's artist himself even recalling seeing Sarah's original post, although he wasn't sure if it was explicitly fan art or people were just tagging him because of the resemblance. But I'm willing to bet that if it did exist, it was just a resemblance rather than explicit fan art. It is exceedingly unlikely that this was fan art. Because, 1, despite using well-known copyrighted characters in her animations, Seiro does not sell NFTs of them. You can scroll through her list, there are none. This means there is zero precedent for her doing this, even though there is monetary incentive. As of yet, no large company has sued an NFT artist for copyright. Second, Seiro's Water Girl was posted on December 6th. The first semi-viral tweets came out as early as December 8th. There was a 4-day period before her account deactivation where people could have scrolled through her account to find the original tweet. The fact that no one screenshotted it or even screenshotted a reply in reference to the now deleted tweet indicates to me that it either did not exist or it was not fan art, merely art someone saw a resemblance in. That's why no one screenshot it, because it didn't help demonize her as much as just lying that there was a post out there that she called Kelda fan art. And third, while the Twitter search function is unreliable, for what it's worth, it doesn't turn up any evidence of this tweet having existed. Even if she made such a tweet before deleting her account, and even if she deleted the tweet itself before deleting the account, it should still be possible to search for tweets replying to it. If the rumor is true and these replies exist, it should have people saying, "This reminds me of Kelda," or tagging Akai Riot if it's fan art. I did searches for both of these, there was no record. But you know what? Fuck it. Benefit of the doubt. Even though we don't have any evidence, let's assume it was fan art. Number 1, that doesn't change the fact that a bunch of big YouTubers jumped on this seemingly without ever hearing the rumor. After all, they're the ones who got the ball rolling on this, and one even explicitly mentions only hearing this after. And 2, I don't give a shit if it was fan art. There are a million more charitable interpretations you could have given this rather than going straight to art thief. Like, even just contextually, it doesn't make sense that she would decide to upload something that she knew would be considered stealing. 1, she makes plenty of money from NFTs. She made 18k in 3 months. 2, she's clearly not creatively bankrupt when she does stuff like this, and this. 3, she even has other Water Girl NFTs with different designs, which makes it seem much more likely that this is just a thing she just happened to like to draw. And finally, 4, it would take one fucking line to destroy all resemblance to the offending material. If she knew or believed what she was doing would be considered stealing, why wouldn't she have just done the slight edit to change the hairstyle from straight bangs, making it effectively like any other generic water elemental? And if all that mattered was one line, isn't it more reasonable to look at this artist not as a demon, but instead as someone who didn't even realize this would be considered stealing? I mean, with such a generic list of copied traits, maybe she just forgot it was fan art. Maybe she thought the original character was vague enough that it didn't even count as fan art. She may have thought, I put a lot of effort and time into this, it has truly no unique identifiers and only generic traits that when used together make it look like it might be fan art. I mean, this wasn't even just a water girl character with the same hairstyle, this had a totally original concept of being a tiny girl in a plastic water bottle being switched around. The idea that she's not allowed to profit at all from what is her labor would not be an unwritten social rule that comes easy to a lot of people. If she didn't interact that much with other artists or is from a culture that doesn't hold this idea this strongly, this would be very counterintuitive, and you must admit it's a little bit confusing. I mean, Akai Riot even uses copyrighted characters from companies to sell prints, but no one attacked him for stealing character designs. The only thing that makes it okay, then, is income and following, which can be hard to tell with indie games, especially if the publisher is taking a cut. So, I don't think it's surprising to be unsure if there's a line between a small indie company with a popular character design and a 200k follower artist who's selling prints, t-shirts, has a Patreon, and apparently has enough to buy a house. Couple this with the fact that this was only 3 days after she started doing NFTs, and you realize her understanding of NFTs and the hate surrounding them was probably only just starting to set in. She may have not even considered such a weak resemblance was likely to set people off. Or maybe she was just high on the money she was getting and was happily going through her backlog thinking of what to put up next. Perhaps she was just too distracted to realize or consider how it might come across. That's a less charitable interpretation, but you still could have gone to that before Scum of the Earth Art Thief. Searlight actually had one of his work copy-pasted as a small part of someone else's, and while he was against it, he was really chill about it. This is what I'm used to with artists talking about other artists, because Searlight can appreciate that even though the guy shouldn't have used part of his work, he has compassion for a fellow artist with their own skills who did put in some of their own work, even if a small part was copied. This wasn't responded to with Scum of the Earth Art Thief, this was responded to with don't do it again, but put credit in and we're chill because I don't want to ruin another artist's life over this. And this was with actual copy-pasted art stealing as compared to this fucking nothing burger. Again, there's still not even evidence that this was even fan art. It's highly unlikely that it was. In fact, it's highly unlikely that it was even a piece of animation from a backlog to begin with. I haven't seen a single shred of evidence. Twitter search didn't show any record of people tagging or mentioning Akai Riot or Kelder in response to Seiro. There is no record of it ever having been re-uploaded independently on image message boards like Danboro or otherwise even appearing in Google searches. The animation isn't even on her Newgrounds account, the one place you'd think she'd have overlooked since she hasn't uploaded there since November. Which, by the way, you can find people calling her scum on her fucking Newgrounds account in May of this year. Good on this guy though, shout out to you. There's just no prior evidence of this animation anywhere, and I've tried my best to find some. To add insult to injury, even the original artist spoke directly against the claim that it was stolen. He did this implicitly at first on December 6th, saying it only looked like Kelder and he didn't like it. But on December 12th, after both Ross and Rebel Taxi had brandished Seiro as a thief and blasted her with abusers, Akai Riot made a follow-up tweet where this time he directly specified that he never said it was Kelder or that it was stolen, only that it had an uncanny resemblance. Also, editor's note, I just want to point out, round top blue hair made of water, straight bangs with a triangle part in the center, can melt into water, naked female form. This is really not such a crazy coincidence. And then he didn't like seeing a character that looked like his being used that way. And in the same tweet thread, on 2 separate tweets, Akai Riot said he didn't want Seiro to get hate. But that didn't stop the mob, of course. Seiro is still called a thief to this day, and neither Ross nor Rebel Taxi made a follow-up tweet to get out the presumed original artist's feeling. Hell, neither of these two even retweeted Akai Riot's comments despite it being a day after. It's one button. Seriously, look. Ross posted some random shit on December 11th. Sometime on December 12th, Ross posts the claim that Seiro is a thief. And also on December 12th, Akai Riot makes a statement. And then it's December 13th, and it hasn't even been retweeted, nor has there ever been even any follow-up to this. And we're back to posting about how NFTs are bad in general on the 15th. Totally unrelated to Seiro and Akai Riot though, that was just forgotten about, leaving Seiro to be branded as a thief to at least 13,000 people, even though that went against what the artist that was claimed to be stolen from actually wanted. Although, total transparency, for some reason Akai Riot also thanks Ross for his post on the same day as the statement. Twitter doesn't give me times, but I'm assuming it was before, and when he realized the hate that it brought, he made the second statement. This feels a little at odds with his own statement to me, but you can make up your own mind on that. The post from Akai Riot, who was quote-unquote the victim of the situation, his actual up-to-date feelings on the situation was only retweeted 34 times. Rebel Taxi and Ross are nowhere to be found in those 34. Meanwhile, their posts on the situation completely dwarf Akai's post just trying to get the word out to not abuse another artist. Again, when it comes to Twitter, I don't think anyone actually gives two shits about how any artist actually feels. They literally only care when it's convenient for them. The anti-NFT people just saw an excuse to drown someone who was making NFTs in hate. The excuse to do that was just that, an excuse. Even the artist who was quote-unquote wronged by this was ignored when he spoke against harassing a fellow artist. These tiny retweets prove that to me. Nobody gives a shit. There are literally people in replies to Ross's tweets that have misunderstood and think that the art is literally being straight copy-pasted as opposed to just being the same design, and he couldn't even do Sarah or Akai Riot the courtesy of correcting any of that. Almost as many people like this as the previous tweet. How many people came away from this thinking that this was flat-out art theft? But does Ross do anything to clarify as to not send a huge hate mob to her? Nah. Look, I'm not someone who's too crazy on the idea that people with large followings have a responsibility about where they send their fan base. I think if you're on the internet and you chuck shit at someone with a large following, you can't get angry when they chuck shit back. I believe they have a right of reply, especially of equal kind. If you get called names, fuck it, you can call them names too. Even if the rest of your fan base joins in on the name callings, they did start it, they knew what they were getting into. However, if someone in your fan base takes this to mean as, I should go dox them and chuck a brick through their window, that's on them. Like, obviously no one implied or endorsed that action, but they escalated anyway well past what the creator was endorsing by their actions and well past what the victim was willing to dish out in the first place. It's not a creator's responsibility to verbally condemn stalking or property damage. Society teaches you that, your parents teach you that, and the law enforces that. You already knew it was bad, it's just an easy pot shot for people on Twitter to take the one crazy guy from your audience and pin that on the content creator. After all, the bigger you get, the more likely it will be that there will be that one crazy guy who no doubt was not going to listen to you anyway. Half my Twitter audience are fucking crazy people, for God's sakes. You think they fucking jump when I say jump? No, they were okay with abusing artists even though I spoke against it. But if I publicly call someone an asshole, that's me endorsing through my actions to think of them as and call them an asshole. I'm also a lot more justified in it if they call me an asshole first. Likewise, if you call someone a thief, you are endorsing to your audience that it's okay to think of them as and call them a thief. However, no one called you a thief first. In fact, no one did or said anything to justify retaliatory action. So this was fucked up. An artist was minding their own business, trying to make a living from their art, and you come out of nowhere, brandish them a thief with zero evidence to thousands of people. You escalated from nothing to name-calling and making assumptions about her motives, and so you endorse that to your audience. And you did it in response to nothing. This artist did not wrong you, and there was zero evidence to say she wronged anyone else. Sending a hate mob inadvertently as a content creator is often inevitable when participating in discourse. The real question is, was it justified? And the fucking answer was no! You blasted someone with thousands of harassers unjustifiably. That's the bottom line. And that's not even speaking about the people who misunderstood you. Some people thought it was copy-paste art theft. I don't think it's a moral necessity to correct misunderstandings about what you've said to your followers, but I think it's a courtesy, and when you sent at least 2k people to another artist to dogpile them on nothing, that seems like a courtesy that you think you would extend to a fellow artist, and also the artist who was the actual quote-unquote victim of this, who explicitly said they didn't want to send a hate storm to anyone. And personally, if someone posted an image of loading a fucking gun on my tweet, I'd at least drop a what the fuck. But no, you got your virtue signaling points, and you moved on to the next thing without a single concern. And yet, you have the fucking nerve to lie to yourself about how good you are by liking tweets like, I've been an artist for so many years, and goddamn, it's a fucking struggle to financially be able to be stable as an artist. Show some love and respect, we would be nothing without artists. What the fuck are you doing liking tweets like this? Not only did you brandish a struggling artist as a thief with no evidence, but you knew that NFT art makes money, and yet you have zero interest in portraying its possibilities for struggling artists accurately. How deep up your own ass do you have to be to like a tweet like this after all of this? I followed both of you on Twitter. I was actually even a fan of Ross before this. I watch you every day, going on with your lives, doing passion projects, hanging out with your little YouTube clicks, enjoying all the money and connections of your luxurious YouTube career. Enjoying your lives. And when I was taking a break from this video and scrolling through Twitter, part of me looked at all of that and just went, you're just human like everyone else, I shouldn't try to demonize you. I should just politely tell people what happened and leave it at that. But every time I did work on this section, I looked at all these screenshots and remembered just what this girl went through, in part because of you two, and all of those human moments I see on your Twitter are recontextualized as a complete lack of guilt or self-reflection as this girl suffered, and I was overcome with rage. December 12th. That was the day after Rebel Taxi's tweet and the day of Ross's tweet. That was the day Sarah deactivated her account. Both your fraudulent claims played a significant role in this girl's mental state, and I know you must have had notifications pinging you, gloating to you that she deactivated. Did you even think? Did you even wonder what she was going through, or question your baseless claims, or even feel the slightest pang of guilt? Did you even check her other account just out of curiosity, or wonder when she was going to reactivate her main and move on with her life? In that whole 4 months, did you even notice she was gone? You got so fucking lucky. You got so fucking lucky she came back when she did. If nothing else, I will make you appreciate that. I will make you appreciate that she is okay. Because there is literally an unused video file sitting on my computer swearing to tell everyone what you did at the end of every fucking video I make. I'm pretty sure that's against YouTube policy too. I was willing to burn down your career along with my own. I was genuinely angry enough to play that card. You got so fucking lucky. So you better be happy that she's okay. And so all of this would only combine with the huge amount of hate Sarah was already getting. Remember, before this art stealing claim, there was all of this, and it was just in 3 days. So a lot of the tweets made around this time would incorporate both new and old justifications. On the 12th, Sarah would disable her main account, hoping to avoid the harassment, but they would only start focusing on her NFT account instead. Bruh, Sarah Art is gone now. They only have their NFT account, laughing my fucking ass off. They're a lost cause. 3 retweets, 45 likes. Thief, 4 likes. Stealing art? That shit's lame as fuck. 4 likes. You're dog shit, 22 likes. You suck, lol. 6 likes. Their account is Sarah Art. They're hiding it all on their alt to avoid criticism. 2 retweets, 44 likes. Damn, delete your main to move on to full-time scamming? 28 likes. Deleted his main probably because of harassment actually, 3 likes. Well deserved for a scamster, 32 likes. It's objectively and morally not, but whatever helps you sleep at night, 6 likes. That's one of the few decent pushbacks I've seen actually. Still got ratio by a wide margin though, and probably half the people who even liked that fucking tweet were NFT bros who are now following Sarah. You're just as bad as Melon for Note that stole from a dead person's art. You are all disgusting thieves, stop stealing. Jesus Christ, that's the stationery store that stole Quinny's art days after her death. Even though there's no evidence, and if anything it would be a design steal, this person equated Sarah to someone who sold merchandise of someone else's art days after their death. I don't know what possessed you to steal, not just someone's art, but their animations. As someone who's dabbled in animations, especially frame-by-frame animations, I can say that shit is tough. People put their soul into animations, and it's not right to claim it as yours. This is total misinformation, and it has 9 likes and 0 pushback. Hey, can you at least stop stealing characters from other people? I know you don't care about anything anymore, but still. This is literally a different piece of art to the one that was claimed to be stolen. The hair's not even remotely the same this time, and someone just... and someone can just say it's stolen and get 43 likes. Imagine stealing other people's art for profit, you sick fuck, 23 likes. Art thieves are scum. You're worse because you stole art and made shitty NFTs out of it, 12 likes. My 3-year-old cousin can make animations better than this shit, 14 likes. You must feel great to profit from others' hard work. You are less than scum, 11 likes. I hope you trip and fall, 16 likes. Congrats on giving up art to shill cheap crap to people at the cost of the planet. Hope those NFT scumbags you support steal and market all your existing art like they did for millions of real artists who actually have a backbone. Came back to say fuck at Sarah Art, NFTs fuck the environment. Steals OCs, mints crappy NFTs, acts like everything is okay, scumbag, 25 likes. No one is going to forget you stole someone's OC and profited off it. You are a scummy individual, 14 likes. Your career is going into the garbage. Also, why steal OCs and make profit from them? Pretty scummy, 21 likes. Forgot to mention you steal other artists' OCs, 48 likes. Stop stealing characters and selling them as if they're your own, 4 likes. Your career is going into the garbage. Also, why steal OCs and make profit off them? Pretty scummy, 21 likes. Pretty sick of you to steal someone's art and make them into an NFT, dude, 7 likes. Sarah Art crafting the ugliest and most motion sickness inducing fan art possible, 19 likes. And, oh my god, NFT bad, and then there's just an image saying you should frag yourself now, 37 likes, 1 retweet. So all of this harassment would eventually lead to her reactivating her main account on the 19th of December, where she would make a now deleted tweet longer. Hi. I've been pretty much staying silent on the NFT thing. I didn't expect such a strong reaction, and I just wasn't sure what to do. Through this, my notifications were muted on both accounts, and I was not reading Twitter comments or anything on Twitter really, but I could still see when my followers replied to some bad tweets. I spoke with my boyfriend yesterday for advice, and a statement of like everything that probably led me to this and what's in my head would probably be good instead of continuing to ignore/silence. I want to preface this and say that digital art is my job. I have a myriad of physical health issues, and because of this I'm unable to work. The big two are Crohn's and arthritis, and I've been dealing with it since I was a kid. Crohn's since 9, arthritis since I was around 14 to 15. I'm 20 now. Because of this, I've been through, and I'm still going through, a lot of shit medically, and I'm still dependent on other people in my life. I felt like a burden. Since my other two sisters are physically healthy and able to work anyway, I desperately want to change it. Basically, doing NFTs made me realize that maybe even with my health issues, I can still have some sort of stable future. The yield is much higher than commissions and Patreon combined, and in a much shorter time. I can completely understand people who don't want to support NFTs or me, even with the predicament, and block and unfollow, etc. I know about the environmental impact and it blows, but I've been told that next year the impact should be wiped out with Ethereum 2.0, so I continued knowing it will eventually get better. But the issue here is what has followed me, even after 2 weeks. I feel broken, really, mentally. I have not been diagnosed with anything, but it just gets so rough having to look at this over and over again. I can't handle it, and I've already been through so much. I've gotten harassment, threats, death threats, and even gotten gore sent to my email. I've abandoned my email for the time being. I deactivated Sarah Art after all of this. I thought everyone hated me and really didn't want me around anymore. Even if I did fan art from time to time, I feel like the harassment would never truly stop. I broke down yesterday because I didn't know how to proceed. Still, I wonder if the money was really worth it in the end for all this mental anguish. But I have a feeling even if I stopped NFTs now, it won't really end. I'm writing this just to let you know that I just don't know. I wanted to say something like, I'm still human. I'm not some cartoon villain who just wants $9,999 infinite dollars to buy 3,000 private jets and then immediately piss on 9 billion trees or something. I just wanted to live happily, even with my health conditions, and be safe for a while without the aid of anyone else. I'm sorry if you're disappointed. I'm really sorry. I know I can't change your mind on all this stuff, and you have a right to disagree with it. But please, just leave me be. TLDR, art is my job, my health is not good, I have Crohn's and arthritis that gets worse by the year, and I am unable to work. I feel like a burden on my family. Financially, doing NFTs brings a much higher yield than commissions or Patreon in a much shorter time as well. I'm doing NFTs for a hopefully stable future without assistance. The environmental impact sucks, but better solutions will be implemented next year. That said, people are sending really bad comments and images to me on all platforms. Please remember I'm human too, and can only take so much. I feel close to a breaking point. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Could you imagine being 20 years old, only 2 years out of high school, and getting blindsided by an insane hate campaign out of nowhere because you participated in something that doesn't even directly or observably hurt anyone, and doesn't even claim to hurt the environment as a single individual, only as part of a larger group? Never mind the fact it's all wrong anyway. Can you imagine having multiple health conditions and just wanting to not feel like a burden to your family, and then Twitter fucking cancels you on a high moral ground basis despite not having any clue of what your background is, and don't even question what kind of person would feel the need to continue in spite of the hate when others quit? You know, I never thought I'd say this in my life, let alone to Twitter, but maybe you should check your fucking privilege! I couldn't go through her now disabled account to verify if there was previous mention of any medical conditions, but it makes sense. This is a lot of hate for a 20-year-old girl to go through just for money. You wouldn't do this unless you really felt like you needed to, so I believe it. Of course, no one thought of this. No one gave her any of the benefit of the doubt. Every possible thing that could be interpreted was interpreted as negatively as possible. And it didn't matter after either. For this single post, things would get a bit better. And there were admittedly some positive comments with a solid amount of likes. I don't think NFTs are right, but I respect your decision and nothing justifies the hateful comments you receive. My best wishes for you and your family. This was the biggest of the positive comments with 94 likes. Sarah, I know you might not read this, but even though I disagree with the NFT stuff, your reasoning is understandable. Please stay safe out there. Also, fuck you to the peeps who are sending gore images, death threats, or harassment to you. That's absolutely not okay. 9 likes. Concerning NFTs, the science and environment concerns, I'm not entirely informed. However, it's understandable for one's own health, which I'll respect your effort and reasoning, even when disapproval is quite known. I hope you're able to recover, physically and mentally. To those who have sent harassment, threats, death threats, graphics, image, and gore, please step away from social media and seek help. Due to your actions, you're not helping anyone, including yourself. Won't support the NFT thing, but I hope you get help soon. Sorry about the death threats, those were too far for even NFTs. So, that's positive, right? No, I'm sorry, all this rings fucking hollow to me. Between this and the replies to Mochi's thread, I noticed a pattern. These were the only kind of posts where you would see significant pushback on the abuse, when those tweets were in reply to the artist, not the abusers. Reminder, basically no one pushed back on the abuse when it was happening, and when they did, the likes they got were tiny. The vast majority of people who saw this abuse were completely fine with it. There was a very high chance of overlap between someone who saw this twit longer and responded positively, and someone who saw abuse before and said nothing. I think it's far more likely that all of these comments are just from the types of people who, if they ever saw hate, just ignored it. These are people who are complicit in the abuse, now feeling like they're being associated and lumped in with people and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry this happened to you. Yes, I agree, death threats and abuse are bad." This is quite a drastic assumption and that assumes the worst in people, but you will see in future that all these people that supposedly think it's not okay will disappear like fucking magic the second the abuse starts up again. Hell, they'll go right back to ignoring it right now. You know that comment with 962 likes calling out the artist, telling them to kill themselves? That was the day of this twit longer. No doubt posted in reaction to this, and no one gave a shit. There was one tweet of pushback with 0 likes. Not only that, but the pushback to any abuse under the twit longer was only a little bit better at best. And yes, there was still abuse by the way, and not only did it get minimal pushback, but the actual positive comments I showed weren't even the majority of comments. The actual majority of comments were shit that hand-waved the abuse and went on about how she was a bad person, or even just belligerently ignoring all claims of death threats and abuse, and her personal medical situation, and pressured her to stop anyway, like it's so fucking easy. Not supporting you, but thanks for talking about it, 95 likes. No acknowledgement of death threat or medical issues, tossed aside like trash and no one even calls it out. And the biggest tweet in response to this was, "For the record, not here to hate. Nothing justifies NFTs. Even with health issues, there are plenty of ways to gain money off your work, such as auctioning them off as symbol, video, or GIF. NFTs are destructive and all around unnecessary." Oh my god, we'll come back to that. The fact that such talent is being sold in a manner is heartbreaking. There is also the whole stealing OCs thing, but that's another topic I'm not here to discuss. The internet has said what needed to be said about that. You can do better. This got 134 likes, 30 more than this one. They didn't even mention the abuse, the death threats, the gore, all disregarded. Go back to the commission grind like a good fucking slave. There were only 2 tweets of pushback to this that weren't from a crypto account, and there was a maximum of 13 likes. 13 likes for being like, they've got medical bills and are clearly in a bad situation, and if anyone needs to do NFTs, it's them. 13 likes. 13 versus 134. I always admired your art, but I'm very disappointed about NFTs. I followed and unliked your art because of them. The career suicide on this path isn't worth your integrity as an artist. Be better. 4 likes. No acknowledgement of the abuse, disregard the medical situation, go back to slave commissions. This was the exact same situation with Mochi. Half the replies to her getting abused looked exactly like this. Point of view, you're a greedy rat that is trying and failing to return to a glorious community. Why don't you try and make some fucking reparations first instead of playing victim and acting like you weren't being greedy? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, 2 retweets, 1 like. Think about why that is, 6 likes. You know NFTs are taboo in this community and you still did it anyway. I don't know what you expect, but you reap what you sow, 5 likes. And the other half wasn't much better. They all come with the stupid but caveat, like death threats and abuse are not okay, but, which is like, I'm not against nuance. I hate it when people say everything you say after the word but is a lie. Like, I'm like, oh wow, I'm glad I can just reverse the order of the sentence so that you agree with me wholeheartedly. No, I'm not against nuanced takes. No, what pisses me off is that this is the only time they ever acknowledge the abuse. You can tell they're lying not because they said but instead because this is the only time they fucking show up. Supposedly, they think this shit isn't okay, but they only give it pushback when they're responding to an artist claiming they've gotten abuse. You could literally prove me wrong by replying to any of the abusive tweets right next to you in the list of quote retweets, but no, they only ever respond to the artist, and it's only ever done as part of a critique. Every goddamn statement just rings so hollow. On one hand, no one deserves the bullying and threats for sure. On the other hand, I'm not going to pity you for losing jobs and respect because you fell for a pyramid scheme that was so obvious everyone warned you against. 5 retweets, 46 likes. I know you all just want to make money. I know it can be tough for a lot of reasons, but I'm pretty sure you willingly went into it. Know why people hate it. You already accepted the consequences of losing job, respect, and opportunities. 19 likes. I love the rebrand, by the way. Mochi didn't fall for anything. She's doing just fine money-wise right now. She's only worried because she doesn't have a backup plan if this fails. The whole tweet was about the mental toll you put on her, but you rebrand it as if she's failed and she wants to come back. Obviously, death threats, even if empty— hang on, that was a strange assumption to make— cross a boundary, but, you know, otherwise, many people have already said this, but it's to be expected that you'd lose your followers or even friends if your actions contradict their ethics harshly enough. 2 likes. No one should deal with the threats, obviously, but you can expect to maintain admiration of fans if you go in the direction that opposes their ethical standards. If you have conviction in your ethical standards, then you accept that you will lose the support of the people who oppose them. 72 retweets, 832 likes. If you have conviction in your ethical standards. God, it must be so fucking easy for a YouTuber with 900k subs to say that. By the way, Mochi, nowhere in her thread did she say she wants you to act against your own ethics. She was expressing how bad her experience was. Go fucking figure, her fucking life was ruined by you people. She's allowed to express that? She even reaffirmed to you that that was exactly what she was saying and corrected you when you implied that she hid doing NFTs in the first place, which she didn't. But you didn't even respond to either of these things. I'm telling you, the whole thing reads like insecurity. You just don't want to admit that you were okay with her getting abused and having a life ruined over this, and the second that ugly reality stops presenting itself to you, you're gonna go right back to ignoring her suffering. And this attitude was the exact same for Sero, even though her situation was so much worse. Heartbreaking all round, nothing justifies the abuse and harassment, but it's sad to see an artist turn such beautiful work into a miserable thing. Wishing you the best, but I think this is where I'll get off. 3 likes. Yeah man, just fucking wipe your hands clean. I do feel bad for your medical situation, but there are a lot of better ways to receive help and support than using crypto pyramid scheme. 8 likes. Again, we'll come back to shit like this. Some people even tried to blame her. Finally, some explanations. My only complaint is that you should have talked about this before to avoid all the drama, but at least you finally let out your reasons. Hope things get better for you. 82 likes. I love how this guy doesn't acknowledge the abuse, it's rebranded as drama, and he even has complaints, like it's her fault for it because she didn't disclose her personal situation and medical conditions. Nah, I wasn't on you to just not jump the fucking gun and assume she might not be as privileged as you. Nah, not at all. Who invented that stupid concept? Twitter? This has 82 likes. And some comments weren't even passive-aggressive about it. You fucked up. You have 2 options now. 1, you take the L, you stop making NFTs, and you try to rebuild your reputation again and live off commissions. Or 2, you keep using health as an excuse to keep making NFTs, you keep destroying the environment, and you keep getting hate. Choose. 6 likes, 1 tweet of pushback. I think it's in a different language. Sero put out a thing about NFTs, but a lot of the passage just felt like asking for pity for their conditions, arthritis, Crohn's, etc. Of course, I feel bad for them, but it really made no sense in their argument against making NFTs, like, at all. Bet it's fake stories to milk money. We need to stop supporting them. It's a bit too detailed to be a fake story per se. I don't like NFTs, but trying to brush away someone talking about the issues is kinda artist turned crypto bro. I'd say I feel bad. Frankly, I don't care if her boyfriend got her into it. She still refused to listen to everyone telling her it's a bad idea, then started crying when it backfired. It's hard to have much sympathy. 4 likes. Jesus Christ. I haven't even shown all the notable responses to this twit longer yet, but we'll come back to the rest in a different section. So speaking of privilege and stuff, it's worth mentioning this isn't even the only time it has mattered that an artist has been poor. Something quite recently was another 100k follower artist switched to NFTs, but they had a different angle that forced the anti-NFT crowd to change their approach. Probably gonna try NFTs, don't understand them or why they're controversial, but can't keep making less than 10k a year. And so if there is a chance, I want to be able to afford healthcare and stuff. Sorry if it offends you, please do whatever makes you feel comfortable. And even then, from the simple angle of I'm poor and this is the only way I can live a normal life, Twitter did not give a shit. Twitter found every excuse in the book to doubt the claim that they weren't making enough money. Don't understand them or why they are controversial. There's been active discussion about why NFTs are bad this entire year. Don't try to soften the blow. 6 retweets, 64 likes. What a shame. Blocks. 9 likes. Holy L. 8 likes. Just could have said you're trying NFTs for the money. Pulling the ignorance card makes this 10 times worse. Literally all you have to do is Google NFTs and I'm sure you will find an article explaining at least one controversy surrounding them on the first page. 16 likes. You realize when people say I don't understand, they might just mean they're not convinced by the argument, right? Like you've explained it to me but I don't understand it, right? You can't just expect someone to understand something by waving some big scary number in their face saying it's scientifically backed and undisputed. They're not gonna believe you just based on that. And rightly so, because you'd be fucking wrong. You're not even trying. 2 likes. See a good artist. They act like they don't know NFTs are bad. They decide to do NFTs and act like they're forced to. Turns out that there were multiple other ways to make money. Now they're worse than they started. Loops back around to see a good artist. 3 likes. The fact that you even blocked replies tells everyone everything they need to know. Lol, you would have been smarter and better off not making an announcement like a sociopath? 8 likes. There's no way you make less than 10k a year having almost 150k followers unless you're doing something seriously wrong. Also, most NFTs are not real NFTs and are hyperlinks or basically scams. Having no experience, where do you think you will lie? 6 likes. Now, this motherfucker has been playing this for months. They probably already own like 50 fucking shitcoins and didn't want to get blow until they thought they calmed down a bit. Fuck off. Sorry it offends you. What offends me here is that you're trying to play innocent about NFTs when it's so easy you could look up literally any information. That pyramid scheme is crashing. You're better off opening up a Patreon. 23 likes. Bestie literally said, don't understand why it's controversial when there are literally thousands of articles and videos explaining why they're bad. You don't get a free pass with a sob story. 4 likes. And of course, there was the usual shit too. Abuse, laughing at them, wishes of ill will, and of course, the odd ominous death threat. They beating your ass in the quote retweets, 2 retweets, 7 likes. It's controversial because even if you mint your NFT and try to rug pull someone, already scummy by itself, there is nothing. They will keep others from stealing your work and minting it themselves. I get you need money, but you don't want a pyramid scheme or that brand. 6 likes. I cannot believe that even after NFTs have been clowned on to the highest degree that some people would still choose to be fucking stupid and try it out. 14 retweets, 54 likes. You're gonna join in on NFTs as they're still plummeting? Lol, 20 likes. My art isn't making ends meet. Boy, you'll never guess what happens when you kneecap your follower numbers and audience goodwill by jumping headfirst into a well-known pyramid scheme. 4 retweets, 25 likes. What a shame, I really liked your works. Have fun getting scammed? 7 likes. Another cool artist I followed for a long time does this shit, especially stupid now since the market is crashing at the moment. 3 likes. Have fun losing your funds? Damn, I'm not going to pretend to even guess how potentially busy you might be, but with 140k plus followers, you couldn't, like, open a Patreon instead, or just more comm slots? But then you also admit you're wholly ignorant of how much of a complete scam they are. Damn, frowny face. 9 likes. L, 4 likes. This is so funny, the NFT market has been dead in a ditch for months. You wouldn't be able to make any money that way regardless. Just open a Patreon like a normal artist. 2 likes. NFTs are plummeting hardcore right now. Lamau. 8 likes. Right as the market's crashing, and there's just a video of Tyler the Creator laughing. 2 retweets, 22 likes. Have fun with that market crash, 15 likes. Lol, why would you start doing them now of all times? Market's dead, you can't even make big bucks anymore. 10 likes. Of all the times to start, laughing my fucking ass off. 2 retweets, 38 likes. Refreshingly bad take, let's see how it pans out. 9 likes. Yikes, 4 likes. Always sad to see a good artist go the way of a scammer. Loser, 2 likes. Hope it doesn't work out for you. You're gonna be poor with no followers and an ugly monkey picture. What the fuck is it, Jibble? I burst out laughing apparently? And the thing that makes me comfortable is saying this. Everybody boo this 2 likes. I hope your project is doomed to either failure or being forgotten and lost in obscurity. 7 likes. Do whatever makes me feel comfortable? I'm stealing your art then. 8 likes. And finally, nice opinion, one small issue, I am inside your house. 11 likes. This isn't even all of them, but as with Sarah's twit longer, we'll come back to the rest of them in a different section. All of this is to say that even when you really need money, no one cares. And after Sarah's twit longer made the rounds, it would do nothing to curb the hate. In fact, it definitely got worse, and neither before nor after this twit longer would you ever see a good-natured reply like this again. Nor would you ever get anything close to anywhere near this number of likes, let alone a big standalone tweet condemning and calling out the hate like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Twitter? The truth is, just like Mochi, they'll condemn it when the NFT artist confronts them with it, but no one will go out of their way to say something. Like, I think this tweet might probably be genuine. I doubt most of the likes were. It's people being like, oh, me, no, not me, I was just complicit. Death threats are really bad, okay? Look how good I am. Am I gonna do anything after I stop being associated with them when this tweet dies? Fuck no. Twitter has no standards, man. I remember when this image made the rounds constantly, and people loved the expression no ethical consumption under capitalism, so much so that it was used constantly to justify why not just poor people, but why rich entitled little shits were buying iPhones and million-dollar houses. And yet we do the exact opposite here. Neither the rich nor poor are defended from this. What happened to that attitude? I thought we were supposed to be at least nice to the people that were in bad situations. Instead, you have people saying, do not forget and do not forgive the clowns who are willing to sell out their fellow man and our collective futures because they had to get the bag. Yeah, we all need to work to survive in Hell World, but that doesn't mean every action carries equal moral weight. This has 15 retweets and 31 likes. This is not an outlier opinion. If it's okay to choose to work for terrible companies that hurt the environment because you're a minimum wage employee who doesn't have a choice, why is it not okay to make NFTs as a struggling artist with multiple medical conditions? You know, it's all very well for people with comfortable living standards like Ross O'Donovan to preach to the choir about NFTs, but the idea it's happening for a moral or ethical standpoint is bogus. Not doing NFTs is the smart choice to make in his situation. The risk of losing his massive following far outweighs the potential gains. Hell, I can prove it too. Sorry, this is me being petty at this point, but holy shit did you piss me off by contributing to this. Ross really likes Final Fantasy XIV. He streams it and tweets about it all the time. Back at the start of the year, there was a big controversy where one of the executives mentioned the possibility of NFTs in Final Fantasy. You know what Ross said? Fucking nothing. And there was no way he didn't know about it. I didn't even play Final Fantasy and I learnt this. Surely someone on Twitter who plays the game would. But no, nothing. He was even tweeting about Final Fantasy within 2 days of it, but no mention of NFTs. I suppose technically he might have mentioned it in a stream, but I can't find any record of it. And even if he did, it'd still be a pussy move anyway, because less people are going to see a random 5-minute portion in multiple 3-hour streams. It's strange too, because he tweeted out about his disappointment in a website before for taking part in NFTs, although he refused to name them. But when it's a big company he likes, with a controversy everyone knows about, he's strangely quiet. You'd think if he was anywhere near as hostile to NFTs as he was to artists making NFTs, he might say something swearing to quit Final Fantasy if they included NFTs. But nope, completely ignored it. So it seems to me that sacrificing potential money you can make with NFTs is far easier for you to do than having to even threaten to sacrifice a fucking video game you play if they do the same. And he did the same thing with Nintendo when they threatened NFTs too. In fact, just in general on Twitter, for people willing to boycott, bully, and abuse artists for making money on NFTs, I wasn't seeing anyone swearing to quit Final Fantasy or Nintendo at all. What, was that just too much of an inconvenience? Were you willing to sacrifice everyone's livelihood but your own? In fact, Twitter itself is so full of people so ready to willingly boycott and abuse artists for paying their bills with NFTs, but the site they're on literally supports and earns money from NFTs. Why don't you boycott that one? You're committed to sacrificing an artist's livelihood. You're telling me you can't at least sacrifice fucking Twitter? Nah, fuck that. The Twitter community is a vapid, disgusting community that makes a million different rules to claim they're saints, and then makes a million different exceptions that only apply to them so they can feel good while continuing to be the most disgusting, spiteful people they always were. Everything the Twitter community has ever fucking said, and will ever say about being pro-artist, will forever ring hollow to me. Perhaps you think this is harsh. I don't, because even after the goddamn privilege check, it wasn't long before I got to witness the largest, most spiteful stretch of harassment I have ever seen over the most harmless tweet that even the harassers didn't claim to be some kind of moral wrong. Because at this point, I was fully online to all this and familiar with all the ways to gather evidence and how it could be lost forever, so I screenshotted everything. What I mean is this happened recently enough that the quote retweet glitch wasn't a factor, and I knew to record it before it became as such. And holy shit, if this is what the quote retweets look like 2 months after Sayro first got into NFTs, I can't imagine what the full list looked like in the thick of the harassment. On the 22nd of January, Sayro on her NFT account posted a humorous reaction image about a significant and continuous drop in the price of Ether. Now, if you're familiar with cryptocurrencies, you know it's volatile as shit and this tends to happen from time to time and never really drops lower than what it was a year ago. Like even right now, it's currently hovering around what it was like last year. This sucks if you own crypto, but it's not an indicator that it's going to drop to zero. It's called a bear market, it happens all the time. However, if you're unfamiliar with cryptocurrency, as hilariously all these people who claim to be educated are, you will think, holy shit, this is it, the prophesized end of crypto, the bubble popped, the Ponzi scheme is coming apart, everything I've ever said will be validated, and those disgusting, disgusting NFT artists will finally get what's coming to them. And all of a sudden, there wasn't a facade of being a good person. There was no humble victory. There wasn't even abuse protected by the thin veil of a justification. There was just spite. And it was all directed at a sick, frail artist who didn't want to be a burden to her family. Lamau, Sarah deleted their art account with 100k followers to do some dumb fuck NFTs and it's tanking. God, you fucking idiot. You absolute dumbass, actual hyper dumbass. 126 retweets, 520 likes. I honestly like Sarah art a lot, but oh my god, this motherfucker is so stupid. Like, you deleted your 100k art account just for this. 3 retweets, 51 likes. How does it feel being heavily criticized and then deleting your old account, which nearly hit 100k, to pursue some shitty trend that's dying out? You can't even reach 50, let alone 100. This is the site's biggest L I've ever seen. 71 likes. That's what you get for destroying the environment with your greed. Remember, folks, don't do NFTs or you'll end up like this, and if you don't, you'll end up like Fredbear here. 44 likes, 2 retweets. You get what you fucking deserve. 7 retweets, 72 likes. Get fucking owned, idiot. How's it taste? How does this miserable failure taste? Mind answering me? What does it feel like to trip over your own dick and eat pavement like a punk? How's it feel going out like a punk? 7 retweets, 54... Oh my god, it keeps going. That's what you get. This is what happens when you buy into a fucking money laundering scheme that chews through natural resources like a fucking tank of piranhas. 1 retweet, 8 likes. Deserved. 2 retweets, 20 likes. You did this to yourself. 2 retweets, 46 likes. Dumbass, 14 likes. Eat shit. You knew exactly what would happen and you did it anyway. Greed is one of the biggest killers of our creative integrity. This is your recompense and downfall, and ain't nobody going to save you from your own misfortune. 2 retweets, 12 likes. I love how it's always the type of people who censor swear words. Like, is that supposed to seem polite? Like, who are you fooling? Hope ruining your career and showing you're an incredibly immoral person was worth it. 34 likes. Clown shit. 27 likes. 497 retweets. What a fucking coward to disable the replies. Hey dumbass, people can still quote retweet you anyway. Stop being a coward since it's pointless anyway. 5 likes. Sucks to suck, Lamau. Sucks to be them, Lamau. Oh noes. You see, kids? This is exactly why we artists don't become NFT sellouts. 58 retweets. 608 likes. They deleted their account with over 100k followers. Laughing my fucking ass off. Good. They didn't need to be promoting their shitty pyramid scheme scam to their large platform. 100 likes. Still won't allow replies in his posts. Man just doesn't want to ever deal with any critics. Crackheads have more dignity than NFT cunts. I hope Don Chan beats their face with a stick. Motherfucker said that, deleted their main account, and then months later posted this shit. I'm fucking wheezing. This is what I'm talking about, bro. I can deadass smell the regret from that post, bro. It's foul. I would say it's karma, but bro didn't even do anything wrong. Just fumbled hard as hell. I remember them saying something about it's easy money because I just sell 1 NFT and I'm set for a while. I don't have to keep drawing. Like, bro, right before the market crashed too. They deadass had 150k followers and just launched that bitch. Hey, I hope they're making their bread even though I still prey on their downfall for anyone who hops into the NFT space, including them. Deadass, like, with all due respect, Sarah, I hope something really bad happens to you. Wait, didn't you just say they didn't do anything wrong? Lamau, everyone laugh at the NFT artist. 5 retweets, 70 likes. This just in, artist who participated in a scam and was warned against it by everyone is shocked that scam was a scam. Honestly, they ruined their possible integrity to such an extent that calling them an artist feels like a disservice to art. I have no sympathy. 19 retweets, 110 likes. Sold your soul for the NFT scam and got utterly fucked. Rip bozo. This one's just a video of saying, you are an idiot with flashing lights. They put a content warning on it? Oh, wow, how considerate, what a nice person. 5 retweets, 71 likes. Was it worth losing the goodwill of 100k people? I want to feel bad for you, but you were absolutely warned and you still fell for the scam. 15 retweets, 183 likes. All this because you did crypto instead of some commissions. 17 retweets, 170 likes. Ah, artist turned crypto bro. I'd say I feel bad. Frankly, I don't care if her boyfriend got her into it. She still refused to listen to literally everyone else telling her it's a bad idea, then started crying when it backfired. It's hard to have much sympathy. 4 likes. Oh my god, the selective fucking memory. Cause she's a fucking idiot that threw away everything she had for funny, unstable internet money. Let her suffer, these people need a wake-up call. Ah yes, the classic fuck around and find out moment. Literally threw their entire reputation away for a scam, and stealing someone's OC, and is now paying for it. 100% deserved. 5 likes. Rip bozo, you won't be missed. 3 retweets, 62 likes. Lamau, ha, fuck you. 2 retweets, 47 likes. They got what was coming to them. Deserved, laughing my fucking ass off. 1 retweet, 13 likes. Oh, I'm sorry, did you think I was fucking done? Bitch, I was taking a fucking break. Rot, 5 retweets, 21 likes. Lol, sounds like a you problem, 28 likes. Funny as fuck, not gonna lie, 19 retweets, 451 likes, deletes almost 100k follower base art account for a new NFT account, loses literally every follower, steals OCs and makes them into NFTs, gets rightfully shat on 24/7, NFT market begins to crash and burn, loses everything. Rip Bozo, 19 retweets, 93 likes, cry about it you crypto cocksucker, woo! 4 retweets, 37 likes, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, 2 retweets, 31 likes, deserved, especially because you gave people's pets boobs. 7 retweets, 56 likes. This is the same person who gave a real-life cat giant tits. I'm 100% not sorry for them. 26 likes. Oh yeah, I wasn't even going to mention this because it was so fucking stupid, but I suppose I might as well now. This was another one of the really stupid justifications for this hate. When they say gave a real-life cat tits, what they really mean is she turned a cat from a meme into a girl with big boobies. Yeah, that was it. She does this quite frequently, as do a lot of artists on the internet with literally anything under the sun, but none of them get comments saying kill yourself with almost 1,000 likes. Yeah, that was where that tweet was from. You thought I didn't show it just because it was like incriminating or something? No, it was just a stupid fucking justification that it wasn't worth ruining the video's flow to provide a counter-argument to halfway through the previous section. The controversy was literally as stupid as it sounds. The owner of the cat didn't like the animation, so they said don't sexualize my cat. Someone with a screenshot of that posted it on the day Sarah posted her tweet longer, called out Sarah by name, causing people to actually tag her in the comments and said, kill yourself. That was the justification, and 1,000 people thought that saying kill yourself was an appropriate response. Don't get me wrong, if it makes the owner of the cat uncomfortable, I think it is courteous to stop, but I don't think you're obligated to. Nor do you have any right to tell an artist what they can and can't draw. I mean, you can literally just disengage with it or block the artist. Problem solved. You didn't have to restrict someone's artistic freedom. But also, she did stop! There was only one of these animations. That should have been the end of it. A simple misunderstanding of one another and what they are and are not comfortable with. Instead, you had viral tweets out the ass like this doesn't happen on a regular fucking basis with other artists. Fuck off, this was an excuse to dogpile her more. There was another one of these tweets with 2,466 retweets and 22.9k likes that was like all coy and like, remember when someone drew Jinx the cat and gave her huge badonkas? Like it's totally not because it's 2 months after or so that Sarah started NFTs and you need an excuse to chuck another giant hate mob at her. And then, in the next tweet down, you showed you had a screenshot with her Twitter handle on it the whole fucking time. This wasn't someone. You knew exactly what you were fucking doing, and so just like the kill yourself tweet, everyone starts tagging her. Anyway, back to these quote tweets. Get cuck, 2 retweets, 29 likes. It is genuinely impossible to feel bad for you, 2 retweets, 18 likes. Lamau, you deleted your 100k follower account, ignoring everyone when they told you NFTs were a scam for a quick buck, and stole people's OCs to sell them. Like, how do you make so many wrong turns and expect people to still be supporting you? 3 retweets, 9 likes. Seethe, 12 retweets, 154 likes. Guy who nuked his main account that had almost 10 times the following to cash out selling NFTs of his big titty Nintendo girls drawings eating shit. Lol. 10 retweets, 72 likes. You brought this upon yourself, especially when you drew a fucking real cat that someone actually owns with a large chest as an artwork. Rip Bozo, 6 retweets, 72 likes. Laughing my fucking ass off, 71 likes. Lamau, get gamed, 54 likes. Should have just done commissions instead, dumbass, 5 retweets, 81 likes. That's what happens when you trash your reputation and put all your effort into a fucking scam. You reap what you sow. 13 retweets, 96 likes. Not saying it's not fun to rip into an NFT nut that lost everything, but man, this shit makes me depressed, seeing all that amazing talent go down the drain for nothing. They axed their 100k account with all their cool animations, cool art/animation for this. Lol, can't say you weren't warned. 33 retweets, 270 likes. So wait, what the fuck? They did NFTs, got crazy backlash to the point they broke down and explained they did it because of their financial woes, which people offered to help with solutions too, and then continued acting like this and doing NFTs. 82 retweets, 1,088 likes. Ah yes, the solutions, like, just do commissions, man. We'll come back to this. Poor Sero, no money, no fanbase, no respect, all alone. 35 retweets, 156 likes. This is gonna be one of the worst ones. Way to play on every insecurity the poor girl has now because of the shit you did to her. This shit keeps going, by the way. Like, fucking look at this shit. In fact, I tell a lie. This wasn't even the full list. I don't even know how many fucking retweets I scrolled through, but it definitely wasn't as many as 1,500. Look at that. It completely dwarfs the likes and normal retweets. Any attempt to call this criticism or boycott completely goes out the window with this. These people think her life is crashing down around her and she can't make NFTs anymore for a living. They effectively got what they wanted, but it's all spite anyway. Between this spite, the sheer amount of quote retweets and missing quote retweets, and Twitter's automatic strict takedown policy, I don't doubt for a second Sarah's claim that she had people sending her death threats and gore. Okay, here's the thing. As widespread and disgusting as all of this is, it's debatable to assume that this is the majority of people. On one side, I have some really big tweets now that demonstrate how vitriolic a very large number of people are towards NFT artists. There's also people like Sero, who even at the beginning seem to have, most of their tweets being toxic. In fact, that last tweet I showed you was literally all abuse. But I'd be lying to pretend that was everyone's experience. There's people like Sal, for instance, who did get abuse, but got far less. In general, the abuse makes up definitely more than what you think of when someone says the loud minority, but unless way more tweets than I thought are getting deleted, it's probably the minority. The actual majority, most visible when an artist first gets into NFTs, is basically to say things like, "Damn, I really love your art, but this is a horrible decision that I can't support in any way. I really hope you do some research on just how much damage NFTs cause and will change your mind. Wow, this hurts so much. I've been following them and supported them for so long. For fuck's sake." Oh, immediately unfollowing. I used to love the art so much. Why do people still do NFTs? I'm disappointed in you, I'm unfollowing. That's the actual majority. And while it's not abuse, it's not inaccurate to say that you absolutely hemorrhage followers if you switch to NFTs, especially for English-speaking Twitter. As I showed, popular top comments say that they'll boycott you just for working for NFT people. Now, of course, minus the rude tone, when you're dealing with an artist, it is still your right to disassociate, and I don't think you're a bad person for boycotting or politely expressing your disapproval. But even then, I think there's still a lot to have a problem with within this majority. Not the complicitness in abuses that I've talked about before, and not so much the action of boycotting itself, but the motivation and justifications behind it. Particularly because, as I covered, most of Twitter likes to pretend it's pro-artist, and a lot of the justifications for boycotting contradict what they've said in the past, calling into question their motives. I feel like artists have been affirmed for ages on Twitter that their job is incredibly hard and they deserve to be paid more for commission work. Here's a post right now within 2 days of me typing this. I think this is all true to some extent. Depending on how fast you are and the quality of work you put out, you can put in vastly more hours for less money. Unless you have a style that drives demand by itself, the typical level for simple commissions is only about 20 to 50 USD, so you have to manage a lot of different jobs and people and workload to make rent. It's only if you're willing to do porn or fetish stuff like furries that it gets more expensive because there's less artists willing to compete with you and drive the price down. The fact that this is the main method of earning money and artists complain all the time about how hard it is implies commissions do not make enough money. It is called a commission grind for a reason. Despite all this being known and propagated, suddenly, commission work is now the shit. It's not even a question if artists should be okay with working for less pay with less artistic freedom. When Saspinella made this tweet and someone replied that their brain is genuinely rotted as fuck, they had a follow-up tweet that said, "Crypto is brain rot. You are all quickening the end for pixel money. Just sell your shit normally." Yeah, sure. Because I really trust your ability to look out for what's best for artists when you just told one that their brain is rotted. The NFTs are actually kinda cute, at least compared to the Bored Ape shit, but they really torched their career when they could have just sold stickers or something, 25 likes. Okay, seriously, in the space of a year, Twitter really went from artists are overworked and underpaid to, dude, just make stickers or something, man. Fuck off, you traitors! I 100% see the appeal of NFTs for independent artists, and I don't get why everyone is shitting on you for trying to capitalize on it. Because it's useless, just do commissions, it's the same thing, but better. I've shown a ton of these tweets already, but the prevailing mentality is people will tell you to do commissions without any acknowledgement of how hard it is. Of course, that's not all of them, of course. No, other people acknowledge it's hard and then tell you to fucking do it anyway. Normally this goes hand in hand with some ridiculous assumption about how big you are and what money you should already be making without any regard for your personal situation. Like this tweet towards Malin saying that if someone can live paycheck to paycheck on commissions, so should she. First off, an example wasn't given. Secondly, even if one was, there's more things that define your security than just your income. What a short-sighted thing to say. If something goes wrong, like medical shit, something breaks, you get robbed, rent goes up, and if you don't have savings, you're fucked. Of course, I'm sure this seems like an easy thing to say if you've got friends and family to fall back on, but that's not everyone. I'm sure it's you, though, because you didn't think of this. And none of this even accounts for extra expenses, like medical conditions. Then you have the people who will acknowledge it's a hard life, but either give you no solutions or stupid fucking solutions. Sorry, I can no longer support people who get into NFTs. I know you need money and stuff, but surely there were better options than that. 265 likes for, I don't know, there are probably better options. Not that you know, you're the only person most affected and are intimately familiar with the pros and cons of each decision as you're the one financially affected by it. Was going to post about this earlier. Honestly, they can take a massive L. I understand artists resorting to new things to make a bill, but this isn't it, fam. Leaving it with a comment saying, you do you, while disabling comments. Yeah, fuck off, you know you fucked up. This was literally like, artists are overworked and underpaid, and I know I have zero answers to fix this, but how about no? And also, you're a bad person for saying you do you. Ah yes, what a tall ask that someone simply unfollow and politely boycott like a mature fucking adult. Sorry Twitter, I forgot I wasn't dealing with adults. On that note, there's always people arrogantly declaring things like, why NFTs man, I love your art, I would have thrown money at you for commissions, but you went this route, 213 likes. Yeah man, there are so many people who want to commission you, no reason you couldn't stop doing NFTs and do those right, 83 likes. Yeah guys, I'm sure you aren't biased at all and are totally more familiar with how many commission offers she gets, and more importantly, how many she's actually able to do at a time, especially when accounting for how busy her life is and her medical conditions. She has arthritis as an artist, you dumb fucks! Again, among the I'm disappointed tweets, these are the biggest, most popular kind of tweets in response to NFT artists, so I'm assuming there's a good amount of overlap with the rest of Twitter, which is up until a half a year ago was like, artists don't get paid enough and work too hard. But no, now it's open a shop, start a Patreon, work with brands, literally you could do anything else. 3 retweets, 32 likes. Even acknowledging the medical issues, it doesn't fucking matter. This was another response to Sarah's twit longer. Charge more, you had an entire audience ready and willing to throw money at you for commissions. There was also this one from before. Nothing justifies NFTs. Even with the health issues, there are plenty of ways to gain money off your work, such as auctioning them off as simple video or GIF. Yeah, but that's not fucking selling, is it? There's no demand for that. No one buys that. Only NFTs. God, people just suddenly started pretending making money as an artist is so easy. If you could just sell the image itself, don't you think every artist would already be doing it? She doesn't control the whole damn market. I want to remind you this has 134 likes for this total willful ignorance. I'm pretty sure this was the highest upvoted comment on fucking Sarah's twit longer too. Hey dude, why don't you just sell something that no one wants to buy because I feel like it's the same thing that's actually selling? I don't want to spread hate or disrespect with this image, I just want to say there are better ways to have more income for your health issues, and people would be more than welcome to help without harming neither the environment or yourself. I'm sorry, yourself? How is she being harmed? Do you mean the so-called scam that's obviously paying her bills somehow, or the harassment that comes from her switching that you do nothing but ignore? And then they patronizingly throw an image of a man shrugging holding a bunch of monetization methods that are all basically stand-ins for each other, one of which she was already using. There's also big tweets about this topic generally like, NFTs, bad for the environment, usually poor quality and algorithmically generated. I mean, look at this shit. Buying commissions more directly supports artists? You can do whatever you want. Seriously, commission a drawing of yourself getting smooched by your favorite characters. It rules. 25k retweets, 93k likes. I'm not kidding when I say commissions suddenly became hot shit overnight. The fact that this is the main method of earning money for artists on Twitter and that people talked about all the time about how hard it is to be an artist implies that commissions do not make enough money, and yet now, it rules! And if you're an artist just curious about NFTs, people won't just say commissions are better, they'll outright bullshit you to get them to stay away. Are you for or against NFT stuff? Should I try making some or stay the heck away? I'd love to hear your opinions, feel free to DM me about the subject too. I see a lot of hate for NFTs in the replies. I agree that a lot of lower quality projects are attempts at cash grabs, but this space is providing a platform and opportunity for artists. 1 like. No, artists will and do get more profit from commissions than NFTs. If you support an artist via buying their NFT, you are simply wanting them to trade and resell their work for profit of your own. You aren't supporting artists, you're supporting art theft? 5 likes. Like, what the fuck is this word vomit? It's a classic grift pyramid scheme, so A, you can only profit if you get in very early and with NFTs that time has long since passed. B, you can only profit out of the misery of others. You have to make peace with your willingness to be predatory. This has 30 likes. Do not, please, God, do not make any NFTs. It's a scam, it's horrible for the environment, it's basically money laundering. Please, Sean, no. 112 likes. If you have to say basically money laundering, it makes me think you have no idea how money laundering actually works. It's an investment scam ran like a pyramid scheme that only profits from those who use them for money laundering, and a huge chunk of NFT sites steal art from artists all over the net. I rarely say this about anything, but there are 0 positives to them. 92 likes. Stay the fuck away, it's bad for the environment and unnecessary. Who the fuck are you to— oh my god. Stay the heck away. Talented artists have tried to get in and been ignored. The NFTers are only interested in resale. Dude, you should already know, as an artist it ain't a good look and it's kind of a scam. Stay away, buddy. Just focus on making fun game and maybe some merch. 12 likes. No, young one. Do not look on this shelf. You will find no cookie jar here, my child. Go on, run along now, back to your slave labor. Chop chop. See, when you actually interact with the artists who do NFTs, it paints a very different story. One of the artists, Yueko, she was one of the ones that got tweets like these. She tweeted out, "Artist, how much were you charging for a commission before, and how much do you earn from NFTs now? Previously, I was taking 1 to 3k illustration work and 2 to 5k VTuber models. A year later, I'd be making 10 to 50k from each NFT." A bunch of NFT artists chimed in with crazy success stories, and it's all just very feel-good. A lot of these artists rightfully feel like this has been very liberating for them. Oh my, that's amazing. My commissions was $80 for a full illustration. Now it's $600. But I'm not a professional, so this is really good pocket money for my baby boy. Before NFTs, my bust-up priced at $30 each. With NFT, I can draw a bust-up priced at $250 plus each, plus the freedom of drawing whatever I want. That's a big thing I didn't really mention. NFTs give you a lot more freedom than commissions. You still have to play to demand to some degree, but you don't have a single client breathing down your neck with the ability to change any little detail. For people who supposedly cared about artists' mental health, suddenly money was the only thing that mattered. And even that's wrong. I was taking $16 on average and $1,000 average per 1-for-1 on NFTs. I used to only do emote commissions for $15 each, lol. Now my 1-for-1s sell for $600 plus. Lol, $500 max for commercial illustrations, $150 max for personal. Safe to say I was the starving artist meme. This motherfucker, by the way, holy shit, this is the motherfucker who made like $500,000 from their art. NFTs took this person from starving artist to going to be a millionaire. Mochi, who we were talking about earlier, replies, "I was charging £25 to £150 for commissions. VTubers £80 to £1,500. NFTs, I think I've been making around £1,500 to £12,000. Whoa. I literally couldn't do commissions, lol. It just didn't work for me. NFTs are the only way I found to make money from my art. Was getting paid $20 per background art. Now I get paid $3k per 1-for-1 art, and $150 per profile pic art. It has definitely improved my life so much. I am able to pay my bills on time and not live paycheck to paycheck. Before I was charging $500 to $900 per work, now with NFT I can get 1 to 3k per work. Commissions $100 to $400, NFTs around $3k. I was working on 40 illustrations for coloring books for $500 including the creation of its book cover, only to find out that the companies ordering these make millions. Now my 1-for-1 is valued at least $600 each. Crazy how companies have been underpaying artists since forever and making stupid amounts of money off their art, but NFTs get called a pyramid scheme and scams instead. So true, I'm glad that my art is valued in this space. Now I can pay bills and buy necessities, pay debt, and buy nice things using art money. Of course, I think it's even more telling when you look at the artists from countries like Thailand and Indonesia and other developing countries or newly developed nations. Remember good old Ant Style and the NFTs helping developing nations is just a smokescreen? Yeah? Well, in the Thai market, I used to earn $15 for full color bust shot. On the other hand, in Lao market, my own country, it's even lower, plus COVID situation. Thanks to NFTs existing, this has really been my last hope for my future, that I could make it with my hands and community. They've earned like $600 at time of writing. I was taking $15 each full body character and deadline is in 2 to 3 days. I am impressed in myself that I can afford that for like so many years straight. I am a $4 to $5 per page manga artist in Thailand and was previously a salaried employee with an average wage of $630 a month. Currently selling one NFT equals my life savings in my 20s. I didn't mention it before, but Biznay is another one of those small artists on a pretty meteoric rise. Literally every one of their 16 pieces has gone for over an ETH each. At least. They're doing really well for themselves. Look, if that's how it's got to be to get a fair commission price for the artwork these days, go get it. This space has really given me so many perspectives. At least I appreciate myself more. I heart you all. Again, Twitter is strangely good at not checking their privilege. It's just like, why didn't you guys just do commissions, man? There's also an NFT artist called Vixpora I met while trying to track down a lot of this who's from Brazil. They were one of the few NFT artists who I found who were like, nah, fuck you guys, you're being assholes, and like directly antagonizes them. They documented a bunch of the harassment themselves and other artists, and they were a big help in giving me ways to like track all this stuff down. Itch.io made a big virtue signal post about how NFTs are a scam and an exploitation of creators, and for anyone who takes part in them to reevaluate their life, and Vixpora responded with, "I'll be reevaluating my life choices from my new place. Thanks. Shout out to Uwu Crew and other such communities, and all the folks who help me with dignity and not $5 commissions." You'll foreclose in a year when you have no money to actually pay for it, since the bank doesn't actually deal in Bitcoin. That's not how Bitcoin works, and you've got the wrong cryptocurrency, and oh my god, it keeps going. Oh, and you can charge more than $5 for commissions. It's your fault for not raising your prices or putting out quality work. Oh wow, is that easy? Jeez, I better set my commission prices for $1 million. Ugh. Okay, hang on, I can't resist. I get one of these, okay? Just let me have one. Please learn basic economics. Oh, so now we're going to pretend that artists don't sell their own commission prices, I see. Also, this tweet had another example of people trying to be pro-artist while abusing an artist at the same time. I notice all people hyping them up when they screenshotted your post are just NFT people, and not people who genuinely appreciate art and other creators. That would kill me, lol. It just feels so sell your soulsy. What a fucking assumption to make, that you're the only one who cares while simultaneously telling an artist that they sold their soul, that none of their audience cares about them, and then laugh about it. Cause you're just so full of love, aren't you? Genuinely, we don't appreciate art or our creators. Clown face. Vixpora was genuinely one of the coolest people I met through all this. Never changed, man. I think I was talking about something. Okay, right. Developing countries. While I was talking to Vixpora, something interesting they mentioned was that for someone in a third world country, they find it rich how everyone hyperfixates on crypto when they have corrupt politicians in Brazil taking part in huge deforestation of native forests for the sake of presumably selling to rich countries. Vix believes crypto has been influential in helping people in developing countries, so it's insulting to have Westerners attack the thing that actually benefited Brazil when Westerners are turning a blind eye to the environmental attack that they benefit from that only negatively affects Brazil. Another thing Vixpora mentioned that I thought was interesting, it was when they talked about crypto versus PayPal for money transfers. There's a lot of other bullshit in the anti-crypto pieces, whether it be Ant Styles or Line Goes Up, that I could tackle here, but there are plenty of people already tackling a lot of that. There's also, for instance, like a lot of observable evidence that makes these hit pieces very questionable. For instance, Line Goes Up tries to pretend that crypto is so slow and expensive, and that it's only useful if you're buying drugs. But if you literally just have a goddamn conversation with anyone working this space, they'll just tell you of their own free will how it's helpful to them. I didn't even ask this, but like Vixpora just naturally told me about it in conversation. For me, the network itself is a fucking blessing. It's fucking bullshit using things like PayPal or other bank methods to transfer the money for my bank account. With Binance, it takes like 5 minutes to transfer a huge ass amount of money, charging me like 2 BRL. PayPal alone eats 6.40% plus more rate bullshit depending on where the money is coming from, plus 3.5% conversion bullshit, plus spread and IOF and other local bullshits. Imagine trying to transfer 10k in USD using PayPal, or like 100k. How much will they eat for no fucking reason? When your money is the standard currency of the world, you don't care about it that much, but for us here in South America, sometimes the value of our money just evaporates and we need to exchange it for something that's more stable while we wait for things to normalize again. Give a look if you can to the inflation of Argentina currency and this. It's funny that it's not even inflation, it was hyperinflation, Lamau. TLDR, third world countries are fucked and exploited all the time. Anyway, there's a lot of success stories, and I think therein lies the biggest crime that even the people who are politely boycotting aren't innocent of. Most of Twitter claims to be pro-artist, but in light of this, no one's even remotely giving it a chance. These pro-artist people aren't like, hey, let's look into this very carefully, because if we're wrong about it, it could be a revolution for artists. You know, those people we like and want the best for, maybe let's research some other opinions, break down the original evidence, or even just like, look at the community, see what we find, you know, in case we're wrong. Like, when it comes to the hard evidence against environmental claims, all the arguments that I'll bring up have been around for ages, and yet I've never seen them be brought up or suggested. Like that crazy energy cost per transaction number that everyone likes to bring up, that basically started the whole shitstorm, was popularized by a report published in Nature Climate Change that, again, has 3 rebuttals to it published in the same journal. And there are even very convenient videos that mention this and break it down. At the very least, these things should make these people second guess their current beliefs, right? But you never hear about this stuff from Twitter. But you should! They are the people who you'd think would care simply because of what it could mean for artists. And it's not just with scientific stuff either. Like, the observable evidence small and big artists make money has been around for ages and no one brings it up. Like, oh hey, were we wrong about this? There are so many goddamn comments where people act like this is so set in stone, arrogantly telling others to do their research when they clearly haven't done a second of research at best, and have actively blocking and avoiding anything contradictory that was presented to them by the algorithm at worst. It's either arrogant, negligent, malicious, but whatever it is, it's clearly not helping artists. Let's take JMW, the pixel artist, who very recently got into NFTs because they were sick of making $10k a year and not being able to afford health insurance. When they announced their NFTs, there were a lot of abusive comments, but what made up a lot of the majority were people trying to dissuade them when they clearly had no idea what they were talking about. You're gonna make less doing NFTs, it's literally going down as we speak, 11 likes. It's a pipe dream that was sold to people by the filthy rich. Don't buy into it before you do your research first, 44 likes. It is a pyramid scheme. Like all pyramid schemes, they will take advantage of the most desperate. Open a GoFundMe, or if you're uncomfortable with donations, make a post that you're looking for more work that emphasizes your dire financial situation. We'll share it far and wide. 12 retweets, 67 likes. This is a lose-lose. You won't make much money, you'll lose a good chunk of your established fanbase, losing you more money. 15 likes. You won't even make money anymore. The economy literally crashed. On one end, I know what it's like to be surviving on monthly checks and how it can impact someone's mental health and force us into reckless behavior to be able to afford living, because it's the same here. But at the same time, don't you need a good PC for that shit? Like, you're just gonna get scammed. 3 likes. If you ever read this, I'd urge against this experiment. The NFT market is absolutely plummeting right now, and even if it wasn't, they're still designed to be lucrative only for those who already have money. Don't become another great artist lost to a collapsing pyramid scheme. 6 likes. No offense, but you chose the wrong time to even start something that you have no clue about. 5 likes. Not understanding them will absolutely lose you more money than ever. I understand the desperation very well, but this is a dangerous path. Please reconsider. 15 likes. Even forgetting how harmful NFTs are to the environment, you're destined to fail getting into something you don't understand. But also, NFTs are a scam. Pyramid schemes, whatever you want to call it, this will harm you way more than it will help you, in reputation and financially. 17 likes. Ignoring the environmental issues around NFTs, you would likely lose a solid chunk of your audience and soil your reputation if you do NFTs. Not to mention the fact that NFTs are dying out regardless, so you're less likely to profit from it in the first place. Please reconsider. 9 likes. NFTs are a scam that takes advantage of people in vulnerable situations like this. Joining now is a lose-lose situation because you will lose even more money, especially now that it is crashing down, and also lose the reputation you built up as an artist. Hope you reconsider. 11 likes. You're gonna go into debt if you do that shit. I promise you, please do You're gonna go into debt if you do that shit. I promise you, please get a fast food job or something. Oh my god, that's better than the sticker. This has 18 likes. That's so much better than the sticker one. In the space of a year, Twitter went from artists are overworked and underpaid to, I don't know man, just get a fast food job or something. Stranger, that market is currently plummeting. Maybe do your research first. You're gonna be in the negatives and without healthcare. 7 likes. Literally no clue why you would do this when there is a massive downfall in crypto in general. Maybe that should be an indicator for you to do some research then. I can't imagine not being aware of the controversial aspects of NFTs, least of all the environmental impacts. Jeez, 21 likes. I can't believe you're not aware of all this small artists making bank, but I guess no one's perfect, huh? You're not gonna get rich from that, lol. 4 retweets, 25 likes. Why would you start doing NFTs just as the market's crashing? 24 likes. I get your frustration. I'm lucky to even make 1k from my art in a year, but this isn't the way. You will of course be welcomed into the community with open arms by non-artistic types with backgrounds in finance, marketing, and sales. They will use you and spit you out. 21 likes. The market is crashing and you will be worked to nothing by NFT bros who are desperately trying to make their pyramid scheme survive. For 24 likes. I understand being tired of being broke, but you're falling for a scam. They're controversial because they're a pyramid scheme. I'm broke too, I get it, but you won't make any money off these things, as much as they might try to convince you they will. 7 likes. Please reconsider this. I know it can be hard, but if you research, you'll see that it's nothing more than a scam. A dying scam even. 15 likes. Wow. That was a lot of people saying that they weren't going to make money, wasn't it? Do you want to know how much money they made with their first NFT? 20.9 Ether, 41,402 USD. 4 times what they say they make in a year with a single NFT. And this was on May 18th during a bear market when Ethereum was at the lowest it's been in 12 months. I can't talk this up too much. It did go viral in the NFT community, so there was a ton of bidders as well as a lot of people who just wanted to see the artist do well just to prove it to the assholes. But it definitely wasn't a failure, and the artist definitely made money, and if you look for 2 seconds, even though it's the 6th of July as I write this, seemingly at the bottom of the market crash after Ethereum lost like $3,000 and is seemingly starting to stabilize, you can still find so many goddamn artists who have made money recently. Market crash be damned. Kibetsu sold a piece like this for 800 USD. Kirakuru sold a piece like this for 230 USD. Both of these guys are under 10k followers. In fact, Kao Sato, another really small artist I didn't mention, just sold a piece today for 3,400 USD. They only have 2,000 followers, and don't even think about their main account or Instagram account in their bio, they have less followers on those than their NFT account. This is a small artist in July at the bottom of a market crash making $3,000 on a fucking JPEG. This was a full year on from the point in time Dan Olson said artists supposedly stopped making money from NFTs. You are lying through your fucking teeth. And when you look at the mid-range artists, they're still making bank too. Remember Sao? Their last piece was on June 19th. It sold for 4,000 USD. Tsuru, a Japanese artist with 40k followers, sold a piece just a couple of days ago for 3,500 USD. 0010, that starving artist who had that meteoric rise up to the mid-range category, just today, July 6th, also sold a piece. It sold for 20,000 USD. Like, I'm not going to pretend that the market isn't a bit quieter and you make less money right now, but it is still miles better than commissions, especially when you take into account the mental health that comes from the artistic freedom. The currency is volatile as shit. Yes, you did hear me correctly when I said that the value of ETH dropped by $3,000. But the idea that the bubble has popped because the supposed pyramid scheme has come undone and is now impossible to make money as an artist, this shit wasn't true 5 months ago when it was first said, and it's still untrue now. And yet people are still mind-numbingly ignorant of this. Oh my god, the sheer stupidity in these comments. I'm not sure if it's intentionally ignorant or just plain stupid combined with a fear of technology, but oh my god, even when pro-NFT people reply to this shit and beat them in the face with the information, it's still not good enough. Guess you're just committed to being scammed at this point. They've done 24.53 ETH in sales. How can you say this is getting scammed? Hey, I just made 10 times as much value in my imaginary chocolate coins, and these don't depreciate in value. Yeah, but the difference is that they can convert ETH to around 50k USD within a few minutes. They're doing amazing. If you actually care about and support artists, you should be happy for their success. If you care about the artist, you would commission them, or donate to them, or support them on Patreon, not force them to mint bullshit meme coins in hope that you can scalp some value out of it later. I'd much rather pay artists to make the work they want to create. With digital art, NFTs are a great way to do that. There are plenty of bullshit meme coins out there, but none were involved in this artist sale. Not sure what you're talking about. All issues with crypto and NFTs summed up, explained, and sourced. You guys hate this video. Currency value isn't imaginary. Its value in other currencies is in direct correlation with how much other people are willing to pay you for it at the exact moment. Oh my god, imaginary chocolate coins. Oh, it finally happened, didn't it? It finally happened. I have lived long enough to see my generation become boomers. No, I think I'm being too generous. There are way too many people who are this dense and not enough people willing to concede anything. It makes it look very suspicious. I say this because when this sold and the artist tweeted about how happy they were, there was not a single goddamn quote retweet from someone who wasn't pro-NFT. Even now, these people only ever reply or quote retweet when they put an NFT up for sale, but never say anything when it fucking sells. Not a single person saying, what the fuck happened, or, oh, I guess I was wrong. Not even a single person trying to justify it as a fluke or some shit like that. What started out as 800 quote retweets disappeared into 45. These people refuse to acknowledge any artist's success unless they can spin it in a negative context. It's malicious as fuck. It looks to me like the hate mob seems to signal boost anything that looks bad and tries to heavily punish any artist that gets into it who has a big following but is yet to sell something. But when it comes to success stories or when it comes to small artists that don't have followings, they avoid signal boosting completely and just sweep that shit under the rug. You might notice I haven't shown you much abuse from Sealide, one of the biggest, most successful artists in this video. The truth is, I couldn't find much, but this might explain why. While I'm sure a lot of it is deleted now, I think the real reason I haven't seen much abuse targeted at Sealide, despite his size, is because he got into it super early, didn't close or mute his account, didn't respond to any hate comments, and he had nothing that could be spun into ammo. He had a completely non-offensive art style, no booby girls, no public statements on NFTs, showed no weakness, and just kept fucking winning. And suddenly, it just wasn't worth signal boosting anything. Otherwise, the greater community might find out that that small-time commission artist switched to NFTs and ended up becoming a millionaire. Instead, they just unfollowed and quietly ostracized him. Everyone else, though, and particularly artists like Seiro, who had a lot of stuff that could be spun into something bad that could be used to associate with artists who got into NFTs, suddenly they became the go-to example to signal boost, even being signal boosted so far as to appear in YouTube comment sections. We'll come back to that. It would also explain why there's such a focus on follow policing. While it's usually profitable to signal boost certain tweets, you never want an artist seeing all of them. Otherwise, they might see what these NFTs sell for. Hey, unfollow if you do. Some of you'll follow, by the way. Another artist sucked into the scam. Make sure you unfollow. There was like 55 mutuals following this person. Fucking sad. This is your reminder to unfollow Seiro Art. We don't like NFTs in this house. At RealSWOfficial, you follow their main. This in itself might not inherently be bad, but contextually you can tell they're not doing it to inform so they can make their own choice. They're doing it to pressure. Like, it's always a blunt message. It's usually never, hey, in case you don't already know, in case they don't actually care. With the stigma as bad as it is, could you imagine saying to your friends on Twitter that you weren't going to unfollow? I've literally never seen that happen before, and I think with good reason. In the same vein, I can't help but feel like while most did not take part in the abuse, they're sure as hell complicit in this. I've mentioned this before, but I saw very, very, very few people be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't abuse artists? Like, it exists, but it always gets less likes than the abuser. No one agrees with it. Furthermore, the only time I've ever seen any sizable standalone tweets about this was defending only small artists, and even that was getting ratioed by accounts half the size. Any genuine tweets about telling people not to abuse artists only exist through implication, with Succulent Bud implying that there was at some point a bunch of artists who were speaking out against the abuse, and considering I haven't run into them, they've probably been deleted by the artist. Which isn't surprising considering the shit you just get for just even suggesting that you shouldn't abuse anyone even following NFT artists. This means it is probably safe to say that when artists have spoken out against the abuse, a majority of people must have been against them or they wouldn't have deleted. I mean, literally the only time I've seen people push back on abuse was when Mochi, Seiro, and Orange Isekai talked about getting death threats. It was only then people took a hardline stance, but I never saw these numbers of people when the abuse was actually happening. Like, no one ever went out of their way to take a stand. The only time they acknowledge and condemn death threats is when defending their own opinions about NFTs from someone associating them with a group of people making death threats. But when someone actually tells an artist to kill themselves, statistically speaking, you weren't defending them. You were either ignoring it or liking the fucking tweet. For every one person that defended an artist, there were 1,000 agreeing the artist should kill themselves. Somehow, all of this abuse managed to happen with basically zero publicity. I literally had to do it myself, and the internet had a year and a half to publicize it and instead just lied. Viral tweets didn't circle around Twitter drawing attention to this, being like, hey, maybe don't abuse artists. Not once did I see that. Despite all the don't treat commission artists like this tweets, I only ever saw people trying to accelerate the hate. And Twitter usually is very vocal about people being harassed into deleting their accounts. But no one said shit when Sarah deleted her account, even though there was way more evidence of abuse. That evidence is way worse, and there was absolutely no evidence of pushback. Everyone just says she deleted her account because of criticism. Truth is, I think for a lot of people, no one wants to see this be publicized. They signal boost anything that like makes NFTs look bad, like art theft, sure, but when it comes to tons of small artists making money, or the abuse bigger artists get, or just artists in general, they pretend it doesn't exist because what's important isn't actually the artist or even the truth, it's the argument they're trying to make. That's what matters. Which is not some conspiracy. This is exactly what we've seen replicated outside of Twitter in this video where Moonicat claims only very big artists make money, and in line goes up when Dan Olson claims NFT artists who didn't get in early can't make money, and when he calls crypto bros terrible people while making like no mention of these swaths of people literally saying they'll harass artists that get into it. Caring about artists is irrelevant. Looking like you care about artists, that's what matters. I followed so many damn artists in research for this. I have seen so many success stories, so many happy, cheerful posts about selling their first NFT, so many I did it, I made it posts, so many sweet interactions from artists who made it, now using their disposable income to give back to the community and buy NFTs from a new artist they're fond of and start the whole cycle over again. Looking at all the abuse over these past months has boiled my blood. The only thing to even it out was that my heart was melting too. And that should have been everyone's reaction. Nothing should have justified this. And yet, those two big justifications have sat there in the back of this video as some kind of excuse. And hey, if you think the environment is a good enough reason to abuse artists, then I'm probably not going to be able to high moral ground you on it. After all, what could be more important than the planet? I suppose hypothetically, if the world was actually going to blow up tomorrow because of NFT minting, maybe there is a reason to abuse artists, a sense of urgency at least to get them to stop as quickly as possible, and ends justify the means argument. So let's give that a shot. Let's view things from your angle. Because even if you assume that angle is just, you know what the first thing I think is? That is an extreme solution no matter how you look at it. I mean, you better be right. You have to be able to justify everything you've done. If you weren't doing your due diligence to check you were right, then you've ruined people's lives over nothing. You'd be an unspeakably terrible human being. But to you, that only counts if you're wrong. If you're wrong. Part 4. It's fucking wrong!